shaking it all out.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Age of Sigmar podcast. We sometimes call it Trash Panda podcast, sometimes other things. I clearly didn't plan out this opening. I'm Rob, and with me, as usual, is my co-host Carson. How's it going, Carson?
Going pretty good. Going pretty good. It just came down from Prince George, where Northern Waste was held this weekend. Had a great time. And with me, I have some gifts from the Meat Dimension. So number one,
you have some gifts.
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 Number one, I've got this golden Tree Man painting trophy.
What?
That's
so cool.
Best small. Best small.
They give you trophies now for having a small.
Yeah, it was in the endowment category. And I've got another gift from the Meat Dimension, which is this giant horn.
Wow.
Which is kind of insulting based on my last award.
Yeah, they're like, they felt bad for you.
Yeah.
And so they're like, here, have this.
Can you read that?
Northern Waste 2024 best overall. Actually, I just know what it says. But
okay.
Well. Yeah. It was fading in and out of reality. Good job, man. Yeah.
Had a great time down there. Went 5-0. It was pretty funny. Not funny. It was fun. Sorry. Pretty funny. Yeah.
That's pretty hilarious.
And then one last gift from the Meat Dimension, which is a Steamworks Hazy IPA or flagship IPA, which I think wants me to put these two things together. So one second. Let's just hold on.
For those that don't know, it beer tastes better out of a horn mug or a horn drinking vessel.
Let's try and pour this in not a dumb way.
Have you ever had it? Are you having it for the first time?
Yep.
What? You've never had it?
Dust and all.
Dust and all, baby. It just adds to the flavor. Sheesh. Let's see it. To mediocrity.
To mediocrity. Just a big thank you to Josh, who came and joined us last week. To all of the other TOs as well, and all the other amazing people out there in Prince George, because they're definitely what made this tournament awesome. So,
absolutely.
Cheers.
As usual, it's the people. Skull! And thank you to Matthew H. 8 months. Time flies when you're having fun in chat. Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Matthew. We love having you, man. You're a pillar of the community.
It's a really good beer.
It is a good beer.
It came from a really good vessel.
Is that the... It adds to it, though. I swear to God. No, wait. Drink it a little bit out of the can. Taste the difference.
Oh, yuck.
I wouldn't go that far, but... Ambrosia.
Delicious.
Oh, my God. But, like, you can taste the difference, though, right?
Yeah. 100%.
It is better. I swear to God.
I mean, this kind of came down to, I remember I was talking to you about like a podcast I was listening to that was going through like a deep dive into like the material of your utensil or whatever vessel it is that you're eating or drinking from has a huge impact on taste. And drinking from, like a metal can is going to have a huge impact on your taste too, as opposed to like I don't know if this is actually horn. I guess Josh can clarify in the chat. It looks like polished horn, but I'm not sure.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, sorry. Matthew is asking for me to make eye contact.
Polishing your horn is very good for your prostate. There he goes.
Yep.
He did it. Okay, we definitely missed some comments here. I'm going to just scroll up. Yo, Josh, thank you so much. Talk dirty about us? Oh, yeah. Welcome to Nonsense, brought to you by Sag of Dice. That is what we do. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining us. Lovely having you as usual. Troop Meat Packer. I've said it for years about Carson. You're here for nonsense. That's good. That's the only thing I'll guarantee you. funny you say that. I'm sorry, I'm Moss Dog. I'm a little behind. Earned that drink? Yeah. I had to stop myself from ordering $500 USD in rats today on the want page with the FLGS. It is, yeah, I ordered considerably more than that in Canadian, unfortunately. Actually, not unfortunately. I don't regret it at all. Like, I've been saving this for over a year. I regret nothing. Okay, but real quick before we, 2 centerpieces is so true. I did not stop myself and ordered it all. Yes, thank you. Okay. What out of the horn tastes like the defeat of your enemies? It's true, your foes. Cost be danged. I pre-order one of each of the new kits. Exactly. I did one of everything for now, but 2 of the Doom Flayers. Just because I like them so much. I have a bunch of the old resin ones, but the new ones look so much better. Metal can has plastic bag inside. Oh, interesting. So funny about that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it does matter like where it comes out because like, so back in the day, my dad didn't really drink beer. He made his own wine and whatnot, but he talked about how he had heard that because beer is brewed in like copper vats or whatever, that it tastes way better if you drink it out of a copper mug or cup. And so we got some at like a garage sale one time and it tasted totally different. I couldn't believe it. And my brother also bought some mugs after my dad passed, and we regularly drink beer out of there. And like they're beers that I know the taste of, and it does taste different. It tastes better. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, it makes me really want to invest in like a really good set of, mugs or utensils or something like that to truly taste things again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Also,
only thing,
Dom,
Yep.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, well, the only thing about the horn mugs is you can't clean them with like you can't put them in the dishwasher, obviously, but you also you can't like use like certain brushes on them. You have to be careful. Like there's cleaning instructions that come with them, but
I honestly just rinse, I'm just gonna rinse it out, I think, and then
I think
let it dry.
I think I use just like glycerin soap on it and just wash it by hand and then let it dry. But yeah.
Yep, that's fair. Also, Dom says, how did Braden W perform you at the Waste Car Solve? And very well. For those of you that don't know, I dedicated my stone horn to Braden W, who's frequently in the chat and is a huge supporter of the channel. Super generous guy, super amazing guy. Yep. Did not die once this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure anyway.
I'm pretty sure that confirms that Braden is immortal.
Yeah, he didn't die this weekend.
Nice.
So, yeah, Braden's immortal.
Braden
fear him.
Immortal. Yeah.
Yeah, we all live in. Yeah, that's true. We all live in his giant shadow, and yeah, just time to live in fear, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Warpstone, the Great Horned Mugs. Yes, that is perfect. Oh man, copper mug ginger beer like Reed's lime vodka. Oh, that sounds amazing.
That's just a Moscow Mule.
Lime vodka. But he said,
and
he said copper mug.
Yeah, 100%. I think Moscow Mules are honestly my favorite cocktail, just because like each individual thing can elevate the cocktail so much because it's so simple. Yeah. Really good lime juice, really good vodka, really good ginger beer, and a copper mug, of course. Nice. It's one of those things that if someone does the bare minimum effort, it's going to be kind of crap, but it has such a high ceiling that, yeah, it's great. Nice spicy ginger beer.
There's a local company that makes aged vodka. Have you tried it? It's like amber colored, like whiskey. It's really good. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Interesting. You have to tell me where that is because I'd definitely be interested in trying that.
I got it at the night market. I actually got it a few times. Okay, we will get to that Bahamut. So first up, real quick, and someone said in the chat, I won't say it in case Carson didn't read it, but did you see the rumor engine?
I did see it, and I'm seeing it right now. In fact,
yeah,
this is it looks like a Hobgrot Slitta's knife.
It does. It
right?
does.
Like I've built and painted those a couple times now, and
Yeah.
it's exactly what this looks like. The only thing is that the hand looks more human than it does Cruel Boy
It,
or like Hopgrot.
it does, but it does look small. Like it looks kind of like warped in a way where it's just like it's so small. So, but the way that they do the poison off the blade too, like I think I think that's what it was too. Yeah. Rum and Coke with Sailor Jerry is one of my favorites. That's a good one actually. Sailor Jerry's my favorite rum. It's got like kind of a banana-y kind of flavor. I'm not really a rum guy, but yeah.
If you want to try something with rum too, there's a drink called Dark and Stormy, which is
Yeah.
is the what did someone just say that?
Yeah,
There you go.
said it.
There you go. My bad. Yeah, Dark and Stormies are great too. They're basically it's like a Moscow Mule except you swap out the vodka for rum, and it's just like ginger beer, spiced rum, lime juice. It's real good. Super tasty.
I'm more of a vodka guy. Obviously, like I have whiskey, but I always drink that neat. I don't do cocktails with whiskey, but I like I'll have a cocktail with vodka. Yeah, I like a variety of stuff. My favorite vodka is it's Polish wodka. It just says wodka on the front, and it's like real, like actual. It's not like distilled, like basically just pure alcohol. Like you know what I mean? With no flavor. It's got like actual flavor to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like this vodka called Haku. Like it's put in our like it
Right.
came to our liquor stores pretty recently. It's a Japanese vodka.
You let me try that.
It was delightful. Like it's
Very
really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Looking at the Skaven pre-orders. Okay, so we've covered that. I'll click over to that because that's like one of the main things. Looking at the Skaven pre-orders, which models do you think are safe to buy off the bat, and which would you hold off on? Meaning that maybe a waste of money to high points, crappy rules. Ooh, that's a really hard one, Tom. In theory, so okay. Are you talking about? Sorry, did you say the new models specifically?
I think so. The pre-orders.
Right.
Specifically.
So, I mean, like, a lot of the question is, what do you think of the model? Like Vizig Scour, like that model's always going to be cool. It's always going to be rad. You know what I mean? We know he's a priest from the preview. We know that he can once per game re-roll all his priest rolls. So that's kind of like, that's pretty cool. But we don't know that much else, right? I don't know. Oh man, it's really hard to say. I think the safest things to order are, I think the Arch Warlock is actually safe to order. Criddock Foulblade, we saw like a basic preview of him. We'll talk about that in a second. The Arch Warlock, I think, is quite safe just because, like, if his points aren't right now, just his ability to not take -1 in your opponent's shooting phase when you do covering fire, I think is really strong. Again, this is assuming you want to play a Scryer army. Like, there's a lot of that in there too, right? If you want to play like a Molder army, well then why would you get the Arch Warlock? We don't know anything about the Galvanier, so that's just a total mystery. The Master Molder is really strong if you're playing Molder, so I think he's a good one to get. The Acolytes they were good like in AOS 2 for like a few months. They've always been bad other than that, so and I don't see them changing too much. You can't shoot them if they're near clan rats, and you're not near enough, like you're not within 12. The battery is anyone's guess. The Warp Grinder, that one seems like a solid investment depending on your build, because apparently it can sprout up into combat, which is wild. That sounds really strong. I'm sure there is a huge downside to it. Like maybe it just takes 2d6 mortal wounds or something crazy, like if you choose to do that. But you never know. Like that seems really strong. Storm Vermin, they're okay. I think they're overpointed, and they tend to be. Doom Flayers are one of the strongest investments I think you can make, because they move fast and like they're just good for objectives, and they'll probably be pretty decent in combat too. Brood Terror, we don't know. And then the rest is all stuff that's come out before. But hope that helped. What do you think, Carson?
I think from just the perspective of what we see as being really good right now, I have a feeling that Storm Vermin might be kind of like terrible. Just because we have an issue right now of like you need to be extremely fast and a hammer in order to actually be effective, just to kind of compete with what's out there right now. And I could see, depending on the war scroll they give the Doom Flares, those could be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Monsters at the moment are like kind of a liability, just because they tend to not really be worth their points, and they're just a huge target for someone to put a lot of damage into.
Right.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, all of this is like really hard to say exactly what. Like, we can't really predict what's going to be good and what isn't.
No,
So obviously, number one rule is just buy what you think is cool. But
that
I
is
think
always the best rule of thumb, because it's just like eventually it will have good rules. Although I'm still waiting on spiders for gits. You know.
Yeah, that's true. But like for instance, if I were like really into Skaven, like, and I had an army that I knew I wanted to play right away, I'd be pre-ordering Storm Vermin just because I think they look rad. Even if I think they're probably going to be bad.
Cool. I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's just me.
I only ordered one of the Storm Vermin for now because there's no, like, I'm not worried at all about them selling out, because I don't think they're going to be overpowered or anything near it. Like, I don't think, like you said, they have to be fast, and they're not fast, and they're a good hammer, but you can only get them up to 20 models. So 3 attacks each. That's up to, on a perfect day, that's 60 attacks or 61 attacks with the leader. You know, like with Visik Scours, like we'll see in a second. I'm glad that helped, Tom. I'm glad that helped. You know, we do try, but yeah, our ability to predict the future is limited. Although I was pretty good at it at one point. Honestly, that was just mostly me just like looking at the tea leaves of 40K and kind of going, okay, this is probably coming over. I really
What do you
wish
think of the Spearhead?
Spearhead is honestly, I'm pretty disappointed with it, if I'm being honest. Like the only new thing in here is the clan rats, and everyone now has it. What, like 80 of them, like, to start with. I'm gonna have 120 of the new ones, and I already had like 300 of the old ones. I mean, it depends on like what's going on. Like, if you have one half of Skaven Tide, then let's see, if you have one half of Skaven Tide, then it's not bad, all right? Because you get the Gracier on foot, which is always a solid investment, and it's a model that holds up in my opinion. And then you have another one from Skaven Tide, and you've got the Storm Fiends in there, which are like intermittently good. They're kind of very hit and miss. The Warp Lightning Cannon, you know, it's like a solid. You want probably one of those. I don't know. I wouldn't buy it though, like personally. But I have 18 Storm Fiends, and I have 6 Warp Lightning Cannons, I think.
Do you think that if someone hasn't yet bought Skaven, also Azri, I see your question in the chat. I'm going to get to it in a second. But do you think if someone hasn't yet gotten to Skaven, do you think this is a good jumping off point? Like, they don't have Skaven Tide yet. They don't have.
I think I would just buy one of the starter sets.
Yeah. Okay.
Personally, because then you get like Rat Ogres, because the Rat Ogres are like, they're newer models. They're freaking awesome. And like, honestly, like they keep throwing, like, Storm Fiends were in the old Spearhead, and they've been in like multiple army boxes and starter sets and stuff like that. So there's a good chance that like there's a bunch of people who have them new on sprue that you could probably find. The Warp Lightning Cannon, same thing. It's been in every start collecting set and like everything. It's not that expensive of a model on its own. It's like $45-50 or something like that. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. You know, it's hard for me to say that anything Skaven is not like the best thing ever made, but I think they could have done a lot better here. I think for the like this set, like, instead of if instead they'd had clan rats, they'd had Storm Vermin, or instead of having Storm Fiends, they had like anything like Rat Ogres, Giselle, like anything, just literally name anything. And the Grey Seer, and like to be fair too, the Grey Seer this is an old model. Like even if they had the engineer in here, because everyone has a bunch of engineers now from Skaven Tide, but I would still rather see an engineer in here than this Grey Seer that's like 9 years old now at this point.
Yeah, I get what you mean with the like everyone having like 80 clan reds already. I have 80 clan reds by accident.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't bought Skaven Tide. I just happened to get 2 boxes, and yeah, I definitely have zero appetite to buy a box like this, seeing that it would get me to triple digits of clan rats, which I just don't want. But I also understand that like if someone's truly new and getting into the hobby, they probably would want clan rats, right? So I understand them having them.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like, I want to get into Spearhead, then I actually think it's a good box, especially assuming you don't have Skaven Tide. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, to go back on Azri's question, he says, "Dear Mr. Mustache, how do you counter Nagash bringing back 500 plus points of Blood Knights or Harbingers? Sincerely, death is dumb." My answer to that is I haven't yet.
Yeah.
The 2 times I've encountered it, I haven't yet beat it. So
I know what to do.
Okay.
You wait for the FAQ.
Right. That's fair.
That's my
no.
answer.
I think the real answer is actually like part of it is battle plan dependent. If you're on a dense map, you're kind of just screwed because like if you're on shifting objectives and you have a block of like 10 Blood Knights or 4 Morghast that can just get to you because it's so easy to, then you're kind of SOL because they're always going to be where you want to score points, and it's going to be a really tough thing for you to take off the table, only for it to come back again. But if you are not on a mission like that, you kind of have to use the fact that they have less units than you against them. Mm-hmm. Just play like really spread out. Don't give them a lot of value for wherever they go, which is hard to do with ogres, unfortunately, because you kind of want to death ball up. I do think, though, however, that ogres should probably be fine into it, just because like even though like a block of 10 Blood Knights is really hard to kill, and and 4 Morghast can be pretty hard to kill too. 12 Gluttons should probably do it. An 8 Iron Guts should probably do it too. And at that point, you're just trading, right? Like you'll trade because they have 1 hammer, which is going to be whatever that block is, or maybe 2 if you count Nagash. But yeah. See, that's the problem. They don't have fewer units than you because they get 4 on the spells to run around causing trouble. Yeah, that's true too. It's not fun.
It's not fun.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And something I actually was really... I wonder if anyone in the chat knows. I wanted to look this up, but did not have the time. I was further behind than usual today. When did 40K get an FAQ? Like when... Because I remember when 40K came out, Eldar were like a huge problem, and Towering was just like a mess. And I've heard that I've heard from several reliable sources now that 40K is like their most balanced game. It's like the best 40K has ever been, and apparently it's crazy well balanced. I cannot confirm nor deny, but like that's kind of encouraging. Like I know it's like a year later, and the games only last like 3 years, but I don't mean that it's like it's fine. I mean like by all reports, it's in an amazing spot right now. And I'm not saying I'm getting into 40K. Oh, by the way, Tom said I have like 12 armies and that's just for AOS. Like, yeah, you got to spend your money wisely, my friend. I understand the trepidation. For me, it's like I have more armies than ever intended because it's for the channel, actually. Like, I would not own most of the army, or not most. I wouldn't own like half of them probably. And I'm selling my Zeech because I don't have time to paint it, and I didn't really enjoy playing it either. And I wasn't really enjoying painting it either. They weren't like, other than the Lords of Change, so I'm currently selling the whole lot. Anyone wants a Zeech army, by the way, they're doing quite well. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, actually I wanted to ask you, Tom, what what armies do you have both for AOS and if you also have 40k stuff? I want to know that. Because you also said I have the Skaven Tide and only the clan rats from that. Do you think the Spearhead sets? I don't think. I think it's a bad buy if you already have Skaven Tide. I would avoid it. I would get like other cool stuff. Because like honestly, like it says like you have Skaven Tide. You said you have Skaven Tide and only the clan rats from that. So meaning like I think you have an extra set of clan rats. So if you have like 80 clan rats, like that's a lot. Like, yeah. Asri says, yeah, I had a Soulblight list down to just Nagash and 6 Fellbats. I'd already killed the Blood Knights twice, and all I had dead was a unit of Hammerers. Then Nagash goes, har, 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 I solo your army. That sounds like him. That definitely sounds like him.
That jerk.
Yeah.
We're in a state right now where like the game has been out for what, just about 2 months, or a month and a half, I guess.
July 13th, August 13th. Yeah, so yeah, a month and a half, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
ish.
So, yeah. So I think that it sucks that there's a couple things that are like definitely really unbalanced right now. That we've talked about them ad nauseum. I feel like everyone else has too. But it is also worth mentioning that like you, I, and like most people who go to tournaments are like not even 10% of the population of this game, right? And most of the time people are playing like, and I know that they shouldn't be like catering to people who only play once every 2 months or something, but in the grand scheme of things, like the amount of time that's passed is really not a lot. And I think that we actually haven't gotten the first proper balance pass yet. What we've gotten is essentially like a hot fix. Which was like a week or two ago, I think, 2 weeks ago. It's just got to give it a little time, like for the first battle scroll to come out, and maybe that won't even fix it necessarily, but it'll definitely make things better. So
yeah,
just gotta wait. There's things that are a little busted right now, a little too, especially internal balance with an index is pretty off for a couple things.
It's really off. Like I played Andy's Corn. I might have said this before, and I I got lucky in some of my rolls and whatnot, but it was like the first blowout game that I had where I won, But I was playing against Corn. You know what I mean? It was like a bottom of the barrel, low tier slap fight. And then I played Roman's Night Haunt, and I was just like, my God, I don't even want to play them. Like I don't care about winning or losing, but like I was never even in that game. I was never in that game. Like it didn't matter what I did. I was never in that game. And so like, it's just like when you feel like there's nothing you can do, you know what I mean? It gets a little bit like you kind of down on it. So that's kind of why I wish they would speed up the process a little bit for the balancing. Like even if they do like another, it's like, okay, we're going to do a light touch. This is our best guess, about our best guess. Night Haunt, you can pick one unit to run and retreat or charge or whatever it is. Like, you know what I mean? Or like 2 or 3 or whatever they want to do. Very light touches across Night Haunt, everything, even the stuff that's broken, right? I don't care. And then they're like, okay, we need a little more. You know what I mean? Because like, where's the rule that says they can't just update it again in a month? You know what I mean? Like maybe they don't want to set expectations. Then explain it to us. We don't normally do this, but we're just doing another quick little thing because it's still a little, we still feel it's a little out of balance, or something. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, we'll never get exactly what we want, I think.
Ludivika says, I'm enjoying clobbering people with trogs. Leave my trogs alone-ish, please. That's not going to happen. Those things are way underpointed.
Yeah. I remember one of our clubmates, Dale, who was like doing some list or like theory crafting for Northern Waste, which just happened this past weekend. And he started out by being like, I just want to have like a narrative fun gits list, lots of squigs, it's just going to be like, fun and balanced and stuff like that. Not a trog in sight. And then slowly it just morphed until he like circled all the way around to having 18 rock guts. And I'm like, congratulations. Like
he was planning like 24 or something at one point. He's like, can I borrow,
Yeah, I know.
Some of your trogs. And I was just like, yeah, like I didn't even know. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it helps to not have a soul, right, Carson? I'm asking you specifically.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never had one. But...
Yeah, that's fair. Really takes the edge off. Tom says, Rob, you're saving me a lot of money. I only have the clan rats that came in the Skaven High box. Oh, so that's like 40. Oh, okay. Then I bought 6 extra Jezzail. Wait. That came in the Skaven High box. So that's 40. Do you have like a whole copy? Do you have like the Grey Seer and the Claw Lord on Knobbeast and stuff like that? Because I don't think you can have too many extra rat ogres. Like I think rat ogres are one of the better things. I just think they're a little overcosted right now. Same with clan rats. I think they're just a little bit overcosted, But I want to paint like a bunch of clan rats and storm vermin, and then not play with them because moving that many models is awful. But it would look so cool and thematic, right? But so many of the problems seem to come down to points. It's kind of like, yeah. I mean, and like they haven't adjusted anything so far. Oh, Chris said earlier, by the way, Lord of the Rings has been at the top of the list for GW for years, and people just don't play it like they do other games. Chris, I just had this conversation today with Eric, because Eric and I are both huge Lord of the Rings fans, like in terms of books and movies and all that jazz, especially books for me, especially movies for him. And he just got something awesome for his birthday, this like Lego set or whatever for the Tower of Barad-dûr. And anyway, it's super awesome, and I'm super jealous of it. But I was like, how is it possible that we're both such huge Lord of the Rings fans and we've never played the Lord of the Rings game, which apparently is like maybe their best rule set they've ever made? Like I hear that all the time. And he was kind of saying like it comes down to the models for him, and he's not wrong. Like they're smaller and like they're not quite as nice, I think. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Actually, here. So I don't think we're going to be able to catch up with necessarily all of the chat, but maybe we'll show the rules preview. Oh, yo, Keith. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait, is Ludivicus here? Oh my gosh.
So close. So close.
Dang it. Ugh.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you so much, Keith. Yeah. And congratulations.
Dodged 5 more.
Ludivicus, he is here, right?
And he still
oh yeah, because he just said like leave my yeah, that's right. Oh man, I was so excited. That was amazing though. Like it adds to the hype somehow.
I think it goes one at a time. Yeah, just ding.
Yeah, it goes up
ding.
One at a time. That's how we see it, and then we're just like, come on, man. One of these days. That was so awesome. Tom says Lord of the Rings is epic. Had to sell my collection though. Had no one to play with. That sucks, dude. We are actually like blessed with like a really good local scene for that. But yeah, I don't play it either. Yeah, there's a new edition coming. Hey, wait, did it already come out? I just knew like
no
I saw it and then I was just like, that's unfortunate because I would like to. It's something I would genuinely like to get into, but Skaven. Oh. Thank you so much, Jason.
Landed on another Jason though. That's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
it did. Yeah, not him. You know, Jason M landed it on Jason T. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. That's really kind. You know, Warpstone enjoyer giving the old Wayne Gretzky advice to Keith. It did not just announce. Okay, I don't know. I think all my money's going to Skaven. Like I've definitely just kind of, you know, like even if I don't know, I don't even know what's in it. So I would probably have to find that out first. But there's so many cool. Anyway, okay, moving on. So, by the way, okay, I actually waited too long to say this. This art piece of Vizek Scour is so freaking awesome. Okay. I have one GW. Please give us a bigger file. I need to make wallpapers on my computer and my phone out of these things. So please give us more digital art. I love it when you do this. Just make it a little bit bigger and a little more. I want a little more. I want to surround myself with Skaven at all times. If I look at my phone, if I look at my computer, everywhere. Thank you, GW. So we got some rules. We got like a couple of rules, literally. Visik Scour. So as the true prophet of the Horned Rat, once per battle, Visik Scour, Visik can reroll chanting rolls until the start of the next turn. And as a priest, 2, he empowers his allies and rots his foes with noxious prayers. Prophet of the Horned Rat. You can reroll chanting rolls for this unit until the start of your next turn, once per battle. Your hero phase. And then these chittering orations drip with dogma, inspiring a death frenzy in the minds of even the most cowardly of Skaven, becoming rabid killers who fight twice in a single combat phase. Should Visik's declamations prove particularly effective, he may even spread this effect to a second unit. So pick a visible enemy unit within 13 inches of this unit, or a visible friendly Skaven infantry unit within 13 inches of this unit to be the target. Make a chanting roll of D6. You need an 8. So you're like never getting this turn 1. Like you're never getting
that's
this.
Not true. Because Visik is he's priest 2.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a great point.
On average, he doesn't get it in one turn, because if we say 3.5, you roll a 3 and then a 4 on average. Yeah. But it's definitely possible to get 8 with 2 dice rolls. 100%.
That's a good point.
So you just try and chant something else and then try to do Death Frenzy after that.
Yep. That's a really good point. And I mean, you could always save it up too. Like if you're not in range, it's not going to work. You do 2 chanting rolls, you bank the points, you have on average 7, and then you can just fire it off the next turn. Anyway, sorry. So if the target is an enemy unit, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of the target's melee weapons until the start of your next turn. If it's a friendly unit, you can use 2 fight abilities after the fight is used. However, the target has the strike last effect, of course. And then if the chanting roll is a 12 plus, you can pick 2 targets instead of 1.
So here's something interesting.
Yeah.
Warpstone Enjoyer just pointed this out in the chat that it says any hero phase. And I just checked. Every other prayer that I can find says your hero phase. Which means that you might be able to use this ability. Like you might be able to pray with him in the opponent's hero phase, just being able to just do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If that's true.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah,
what
really
a great catch. Any hero phase.
Because otherwise, why would they say any hero phase?
Any hero phase.
Like why would they specify when literally every other prayer seems to be your hero phase?
Oh, that's so fun. I'm sure he'll be overpointed. Everyone, calm down. I'm sure he'll be overpointed. Okay. Let's not get our hopes up. Okay.
He also brings up another good point.
Okay.
Well, we're just using this man for content at this point.
That's true.
That,
I did notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. The reroll to cast lasts until your next turn, which means that if Visik Scour's prayer does actually just get to chant in the opponent's turn, that means you get to reroll that too, which is really awesome.
That's true. Yeah.
And maybe does that even mean that he could potentially spend a CP to chant something and then just use his Death Frenzy for free too?
Say that again.
So like you have the what's it called? What is the unleash? I always call it unleash spell, but it's
unleash your prayer.
Yeah, exactly.
Prayer, whatever. Yeah.
You spend a CP and you get to chant or cast in the opponent's turn. Magical intervention. That's right. Yeah, do that and then do Death Frenzy to be able to charge it up even more. So that's like an amazing way to screw with your opponent's plans.
I didn't even realize that you could. I don't think I've ever prayed in this game, use a prayer in this game yet, because I haven't used my Soul Scryer, and now there's no Plague Priest on foot. That is an I mean, like, that feels like something that needs to be FAQ'd. If they if the rules were written in a way, it's like, okay, he can't pray like twice your opponent's turn and then pray for a third time. Like, that seems a little bit.
Well, he wouldn't be able to do this twice. It's just this one prayer says any hero phase, which means you just get to do it for free in your opponent's hero phase. And then magical intervention means you'd have to pick a different prayer to resolve first.
I see. Right. So wait, like, let's say I'm going to do whatever, like, pick another prayer, right? I first make a chanting roll, right? If like, let's say I roll a 6 and it goes off with a 4, I don't have to actually release that prayer, correct?
Yeah.
So I could just bank that.
You just bank 6
with magical intervention.
Yep.
And then do this. And then maybe get it off in my opponent's turn. Ooh. Ooh la la. I like that. That I mean, that's so sneaky and so freaking Skaven. I hope this is true. It's absolutely chef's kiss. This is like beautiful. It's like poetry in rules making.
And this is I think this is exactly what. So Matthias said. Okay, so first of all, if you haven't checked out the most recent episode of Dudes of Sigmar, please do. There were 2 released as a result of Northern Wastes, and Matthias was basically saying that he's just craving zhuzh in the game, and what that means is just like trickery and teleporting and like very unique abilities. And I think this is an example of something that is exactly the kind of zhuzh that Matthias is looking for, right? And if you don't know the word zhuzh, you got to look it up because it has a definition. All right. And good luck spelling it.
I thought it was, or I must be thinking of a different word. I thought it was jus, and it means juice.
No.
Okay.
No, zhuzh is like oomph, like it's like,
okay.
Like special, like,
okay.
Like it makes it like good. I don't know how to explain it, but this is zhuzh. All right.
This is
good.
This is both. This is the sauce.
Dude, Sigmar's even here in the chat. They say more. That's not how you spell zhuzh, but that's. It's all write it in the chat.
More
zhuzh.
He. Oh. Is that how you spell it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like soup of the day.
The definition is to make something more stylish, lively, or attractive.
Oh.
So it's like souping something up. Like.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, it's just.
Certain,
exactly like you said, chef's kiss.
Je sais quoi or something.
Je sais quoi. Yeah.
Je sais quoi. I can't say that, even though I just made it up.
Yep. I like this a lot. This is really cool.
This is exciting as hell. Like I've been saying this since I saw it. It's the coolest model they've ever made. I will die on this hill and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. But like if it actually has cool and fun rules like this, that is so fun. It's so awesome. Like I knew going in, like I also said from the beginning, Skaven are the enemy poster child of the Stormcast Eternal edition, which means the rules are going to be bad. And they've already said that like we're not getting any cool new rules in the book. They said it's basically just the index with like new what do you call them? Like with new war scrolls essentially. And so a lot of people are complaining online. I am disappointed, but I'm still buying the book because it's going to have all the awesome lore, right? But like this is definitely some ooh la la. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of just like tricky mechanics I think is going to be really cool for Skaven. Like I already really like the combo where you can take the Deceiver and give him the 3-up retreat thing too, where it's like on a 4-up I teleport away, on a 3-up I just leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you have like a really good chance of just messing with your opponent's plans. And this is another example of that where Visit can just, be given up to 2 units, -1 attack, or, fight twice on 2 things. We haven't really seen what the Storm Vermin are going to be like. Or do they have a War Scroll in the index?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is
3
it going to be the
attacks
same, just
each.
new models, do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of what they insinuated. There was some interesting things, like if you look at the Sunday preview, not to go back to that real quick, but just to go back to that real quick. Oh, okay. Actually, so 2 things. First, before I forget, GW, I'm sorry, I got to talk to you again. I'm disappointed. I pre-ordered, or I was going to pre-order these Skaven dice, but they are the same boring ones you made last time, and I will no longer be requiring them. I thought they were going to at least look as cool as the 40k ones, but you chose the wrong path. Actually, this might kind of be good for me that they're choosing to make kind of boring looking Skaven dice, because I've made some new dice, and I think they're the coolest looking dice. They'll probably be here in like a week or 2, and they're obviously rat themed. So I'm really excited to show you guys. So yeah, maybe you'll like some of my dice. The other thing too that I wanted to mention was the Plague Pack. It looks like they might be Jason, friend of the channel, Jason, pointed out that it looks like they're probably getting an AOS War Scroll. So that would be cool. Like, 'cause it would be nice to have like a priest on foot, none of this current garbage, but yeah. So it looks like the interesting thing about that too is it looks like the underworlds can like be put into legends and then be brought out of legends if that's the case.
Yeah, that's interesting. It makes me think that they're going to put them into like their own separate box or something for sale.
Yeah, well, they said they're getting a reboxing, so we know that that's happening. But if it's coming out with the Skaven stuff, as Jason was kind of saying, the implication is that it's coming to AOS, like they're going to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, they just did like a whole bunch of, or I guess it was a little while ago now. They reboxed a couple of them, right, that people didn't have access to yet. I think, or like hadn't had access to in a while, maybe.
Yeah, they did Mollog rather. They did. Yeah. I can't remember. It's been a little while, but like those were for underworlds.
I know, but it makes me wonder if those are related to some armies keeping their underworlds warbands.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about this, and I wish that they kept Slink, because I actually think he's the coolest one because he's Eshin, so automatically cooler. But the nice thing about Skabic here is he does fill a niche, and that we don't have any foot priests, which is ridiculous. And maybe I'm kind of hoping that he becomes a general priest, and he just it's like a Warcry warband. Oh, and then the other thing you pointed out too, for all those that were disappointed that we didn't see some kind of Eshin unit in the preview show, Jason also pointed out that Warcry isn't AOS. So we've seen everything for AOS for the next year for Skaven, but that doesn't mean we haven't seen the Warcry stuff. So like kind of like Ogres, where it was like you got the Gorger Mapak in them.
That's true.
So
I have 3 of those now.
Yes. Oh, do you? That's amazing.
Yeah. One painted, one built, and one in Dale's hands because he bought some for me.
Oh, cool. Awesome. And Jim said new Skaven dice from Bracy Rob. Yes, it's going to be like kind of like the Hanzo dice, but it's like Hanzo evolved, and he's become like a Grey Seer. So yeah, they look so good. I'm really ecstatic. Because thanks to everyone's awesomeness, we sold out of the old Skaven dice, or the old rat dice that I had. And yeah, they were really popular. So wanted to make more, but I wanted to make them so that they were like a little more visible on the yeah. Anyway, so yeah, thanks so much for the question. First, you copy our Loon Shrine, but better, and now you come for our Gabapalooza? Yes. Take that. Wait, you're one of us now, Ledivicus. What are you talking about? One of us. If the Plague Pack are just a unit... Oh, yeah, that'll be amazing. Plague-a-Palooza? Hell yeah. That's such a rad idea. I hope the rat has some kind of, like, cool function, by the way. Nice. Thank you for spamming the icons in the chat. Well done.
I'm an ogre player. All I know is spam. 4th edition. I'm dying.
You're dying inside. It's true. But again, we've established you never had a soul. You don't know what it's like, so...
That's true. I long for one, though. I might steal someone else's.
Yep. Well,
maybe
stay
yours?
away from me. Stay away from me. I've given mine over to the Great Horned Rat, so it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
He's been gnawing on it for years now. Yeah, you don't want it. I'd say steal one from our lovely, kind viewers, but don't do that either. So, Kritok Foulblade also got some. He got like one little small, or he got a couple little rule things. So he has a passive: add 1 to wound rolls for friendly storm vermin units while they are wholly within 13 inches. That's just a passive. So I think they might be
nice
okay. Yeah, because like that many attacks on 3s and 3s, -1 always, -2 if they charge you, or -2 in Claw Horde, right? That's a lot. Like that could be a genuine threat. And then he has on his melee weapon, Doomfang, 5 attacks, crit mortal, 3s and 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage. Also, any combat phase, this unit has strike first for the rest of the turn, but it cannot use commands this phase. So if you're just like, well, I don't need to all-out defense him, so he's just going to attack first.
So you might as well. Yeah. Get 2 activations.
And if he's near the Storm Vermin, he'll have a 5-up ward.
Well, the nice thing is, too, is that it says any combat phase. So maybe it's like, I kind of want to soften my... Yeah, exactly. I want to soften my opponent's hammer a little bit, so I'm going to decide to strike first with him, which is really nice. The interesting thing is... If you look back at Visik Scour's ability, it says that this friendly unit can use 2 fight abilities this turn after the first is used. However, the target has strike last for the rest of the turn. Strike first and strike last cancel each other out. So basically, you can give Visik Scour 2 fight activations without suffering a strike last if you wanted to. Silence is deafening, Rob. Say something. Say something, please.
That sounds so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, you might not want to. He doesn't have the most amazing profile, right? But basically, it would mean he forgoes his strike first, but he gets to fight 2 times, and you just get to pick whenever he does because they cancel each other out, right?
Right. So you wouldn't get to go in a row, but you would get to go 1, and then, yeah. That's interesting. The other thing, there's a little more zhuzh there too. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because then it takes away from like the scariness. Because if you're like, okay, well they're fighting last, and I only have 1 unit in combat with them, right?
Oh, hold on. Good point. Warpstone Enjoyer says the strike last is only on the second fight.
Oh, okay.
So you could actually chain it. So what you would do is he has strike first. He fights with strike first. He gets strike last. The strike first is still in effect, so then he could just go again because now it's your regular activation. So this is assuming it's your combat phase, right?
Yes.
You charge him in. He has strike first.
I feel like that might get FAQ'd.
No, I don't think it will. I don't think
really.
To be honest, I don't think it's powerful
it's a
enough to.
thing? No, that's fair enough. But we don't know what else he has because he could also have like the other Clawlord thing where it's like you could just activate another unit. Like a lot of models have like that, like when they're, especially when they're foot heroes, that it's like you can fight directly afterwards. So if you could have this guy fight, and then activate Storm Vermin to fight right next to him, he could actually be like this could be like a legit combo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So like someone charges you, you fight first, and then your storm vermin fight. Maybe this is just theory. And then they get to fight with something, and then maybe you fight with him again. I don't know. The strike last is only on the second. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you said that. What up, Mark? Thanks for joining us. I will never stop digging for warpstone. It's in my ears.
Yep, that's true. In other orifices too.
I mean, I didn't want to tell everyone about
all of them.
Carson. That's true. Who am I to deny it? It's even in my eyes. Okay, man. There's like too many awesome comments here.
Says, no, you can't. It can only be for Skaven infantry. The death frenzy. Who's to say that Kritok isn't infantry? I guess we have to know about his keyword for sure.
Yeah.
But if he's bossing around Storm Vermin, I'd imagine he's also infantry, because there's such thing as infantry heroes, right? And it doesn't specify it has to not be a hero.
And like, considering he has 2 like clan rats or storm vermin with him, he's probably got the infantry keyword. But I mean, I don't know that he'll have the chain activation thing. But
yeah.
I see. You're talking about Death Frenzy on him, I guess.
Yeah, but Death Frenzy just says pick a visible friendly Skaven infantry unit. It doesn't say that it can't be a hero.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Granted, we're assuming he has the infantry keyword, so it's a good call out to say that he might not.
He might not.
I'm assuming he does, like that, just based on like
it's probably better to put it on a unit of storm vermin anyway.
Yeah, but you could pick 2 if the spell goes off on a 12.
No, for sure. Yeah, and you could throw them in there together. That would be wild.
Yeah,
I think he will be an infantry hero.
Because like their attacks profile, if Kritok is near them, 3s and 3s, 3 attacks, Ren 1/1 damage, is about the same as Blade Geist Revenants, and those things shred. Like,
yep, yeah,
they hurt a lot. And
do.
You know, while you only move 6 inches, you've got your
and don't have an ethereal save.
Yeah, I don't have an ethereal save. You do have your always 3 claw steps ahead to get a little bit closer to cover the gap a little bit. And there's other ways to make Skaven faster too. So yeah.
What other ways are there for infantry? For regular guys, non-molder? I mean, you could teleport through a gnaw hole. What else is there, Carson?
Well, I said that, and I didn't actually think of examples.
I thought I just assumed you had something.
yeah.
I was like, I can't think of anything.
Scott McDames, it was a pleasure to make you and your mustache acquaintance quickly during the action-packed Northern West. Yeah, it was good to meet you too, Scotty.
That's awesome. I like I like your last name. It's like
I remember every time I see it, I'm like, that sounds fake. Sounds like. And so I'm not convinced you're a real person, Scott. So you're gonna have to.
I never thought you were. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I've missed so many. Dang it. Ledivicus, that's what it was. Ledivicus says, I just love that he's overweight and balding. I can relate. Oh man. I don't know. I'm if you don't paint him with like the samurai, look to his head, like I think he'll just look like he has fur if you just paint him brown. But yeah, I don't know. I might do like some green stuff on him, or I might just paint him like he is. I don't know.
Yeah, I was unreasonably excited when I saw that they had like fat guys in the Steel Helms kit.
Yeah,
I was like, that's me.
You weren't the only person. and our good friend of the channel, Eric, the clairvoyant Eric, actually, he was really, really excited that they had fat guys. And I think it was Alex was excited they had fat guys. And I know Eric was particularly excited that they had bulldogs because he has a bulldog. They have English bulldogs in there. So that's awesome. But yeah, I just totally dropped the ball. We were supposed to have Eric on last week as well. And man, like his predictions were crazy accurate. It's too bad, you know. He was saying like, you know, like Matthias's list, like it looked really, really strong, but he might struggle with Night Hunt and like stuff like that. It was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shocking that he told you those predictions after the tournament happened too. How they were so accurate. I just don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, he did make them after the tournament happened, but still, like, we should have
He
had
promised
him.
us he didn't read the results. He
No,
promised.
exactly. Yeah, he did. He said he swore on my Skaven models, which I thought was a little weird, but
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to swear on someone else's belongings,
yeah, but like I love my Skaven models so much that I just assume that he does too, and he would never want to jeopardize them. Right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chris says put the Jinkasa hat on him. The
Yeah.
hat.
Also, before you go ahead, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, well, no, please, you go ahead.
I just noticed something funny in the chat. Scott, he sent a message. I'm gonna out you, Scott. You said you have 2 retracted messages. Number one's I remember said, "That's funny. I'm not convinced that your mustache is real, or it like looks like it's not real or something."
Shots
And then
fired.
I sent another message saying "JK, JK." I'm like, I know you're kidding. You don't have to be ashamed. Okay, it's a safe space. You can joke here, Scott. It's all right.
Carson makes horrible jokes sometimes, like jokes that, like, if you didn't know him, you'd be like, "Oh my god, you're the worst person I've ever met in my life." But we all know he's joking. So you're the last person to take people seriously.
Yeah, I am the overweight Monopoly man. I'm the Pringles guy who got into his own supply. What else am I? Huh?
The Monopoly man. Did you already say that?
I already said that one. Yeah.
Damn it.
Jeez.
I was just.
Scott says I don't. That's fair. I respect that. Thank you, Scott.
Hell yeah. I'm the same kind of way though. Like the last thing I would want is to, because like text is scary, man. Like you and I had it. Like we never take each other seriously, but we just like we had something that I just like I misunderstood kind of, and
I think the only time we've had a disagreement is via like text. It's usually
we haven't had many that I can.
Yeah,
think
exactly.
Of. Yeah. Actually, that's the only one I can literally think of. But
yeah, only on extreme political opinions we've had disagreements.
That's true.
And I'll let you guys be the judge of what side Rob is on. All right.
You will worship Zeus, or you will leave this channel. Damn it!
His name is Jupiter. Okay.
His name is Jupiter.
It's the Roman pantheon. The Romans won. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Not this again. Actually, there was a this is crazy off topic, but there was a like a Roman like animated show on Netflix, and like the first season was pretty good, and I started watching the second season. I was just like, I don't care anymore. It's just been too long or something. I don't know.
So Dale reminded me of something that happened over the weekend. We were at the pub on Friday night. I'm about to swear, so if your kids are watching, please mute the stream. But Kenrick, so I ordered a whole bunch of nachos, or actually only a half order, but it was huge. And we were all like pretty tired, having a drink, having some nachos.
I don't know where this is going. I'm really nervous.
Kenrick just says to me like, "Hey Carson, what do you call nachos that aren't yours?" And I just look at him and I said, "Shut the fuck up." Shut the fuck up, Kenrick. Just got him. Like, I don't know why that Dale reminded me of that because he called it out. But
oh man,
that's the kind of person I am.
Yeah, I've actually told you like personal, like actual like personal, like details. You know what I mean? And then I forget what it was. Like this is not what it was. But it was like, yeah, my mom was in the hospital, and he's just like, didn't ask. Like the timing on it is yeah. But if I didn't know him, I'd just be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I only pull that stuff out when I know you really well. For sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
or if
actually
I know I'm never going to see you again.
That's an even better time, actually. I actually like that was like a sign that like I think we're close. Is like I'll say stuff like that. You know what I mean? But even in text, I get a little like neurotic, and I'm just like, just kidding. Like I don't want you to actually take me seriously here. Yeah, but. Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed my fake Eric prediction. Yeah. I'll predict I'll have pizza for dinner last night. That's good. That's true. Actually, Keith like really understands the lore here. He says you can't be mean to Carson. It just gives him more power. Yeah. Unlimited power. Finish the Radogers, Dudes of Sigmar. That's awesome. I put them in the other room because I was playing with them. But I don't know if you like. I posted mine recently too. I had so much fun painting those things. Like way more than I thought. It's the most fun I've had painting Skaven. I don't know. Like my Vermin Lord kind of stressed me out a bit, if I'm being honest. Like I'm like happy with how he came out, like a lot, but yeah, he kind of stressed me out because I wanted him to be good, you know. That's why I think I might paint the Brood Terror first, because I like him, but like I'm like after painting those Rat Ogres, I know what like how I want to paint him exactly, and I'm just like not worried about it at all, you know. It's just kind of nice. But
yeah, it's always good to kind of follow those like strokes of motivation, I guess, that you get for a model, where like you know exactly what you want to do, and it's good to just execute on it right away. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping to like. I've been working on clan rats recently, and though they are my happy place, and I'm just fine painting them, but I'm just like staring down the barrel of like a huge Skaven release, and I'm just like, I got to get these done like so quick that I'm not like just feeling it. But I did base them in like such a way that like it's my favorite basing I think I've ever done. And yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna notice it and be like, oh, that's really cool even at all, probably. But I'm just like, this is exactly what I was thinking of back in the day. How do you handle it when Rob gets the zoomies? I mean, what do you do every stream, Carson? I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of get the zoomies during streams too. Live streams.
Yeah.
It powers me up. What's a zoomie? Is that like a young intern? It's like when your dog gets all excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it starts running around. Or your cat too. Also, Scott says, happy I managed to actually open up my Skaven Tide box today and assembled a little bit of it. Yeah.
Nice.
It is a huge project. So little bits at a time is definitely a good way to go about it, I think.
I don't know what that means, Scott. Matthias, did you snag and PG antes? Like, what does that mean?
any PG antes, I think he's
Prince George antes? Like,
yeah,
did he
he's an anti-snagger. Yeah. You know, you never snagged an ante? Snug?
I have not. But in my...
What a geek you are. Jeez. Also, Scott, thank you so much for becoming a channel member.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you for joining us, man. That's amazing. Sorry. Now I'm just like, I'm loopy. I just got called a geed for not snagging any antes. Oh man.
You're having a stroke right now, Rob. What's your name? What's today's date?
Well, you know what's funny? What I just realized, sorry, is I've been an uncle since I was 11. So every girl I ever hooked up with snagged an uncle. I just realized. Even when I was younger than them, they snagged an uncle. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. I'm going to dine on this for ages. I'll sleep good tonight. The zoomies are going to keep me
According to Scott, those local aunties really love gingers. Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Oh man, there's so much lore being brought out. Oh geez, it's a really fun box to put together though, Scott. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Prince George is actually made up of 100% of these two things. And number one is aunties, and number two is pulp mill workers.
God dang it. Do you smell burnt toast? No, I think I'm okay. I think I'm just having a heart attack or a stroke or whatever the heck that is. Swampy Tufts. Swampy Tufts are good. Oh man. I can't read out some of these. Okay. Do we cover all of that? We did. And I think we covered, the bad looking dice, war scroll cards. What do you think? Like, so there is the gamer edition that we didn't even know we were getting. Oh, that's so much nicer.
I think it's kind of cool. I like that they're, so presumably it's going to be cheaper than buying the cards and the book separately. So
yes. So it's a paperback version, and we think that there's I don't know why, but like Jason believed that there was lore in there. Like you're going to get all of it. It's just a paperback version, right? And so it's going to be like $20 more than the hardback version. So it's like $20 total cheaper than buying the War Scroll cards and the book, but also the War Scroll cards come with, they're like better War Scroll cards that come with like all your spells and all the extra abilities and stuff like that. So you have them in card format, right?
And that's the gamer edition that has those.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why the War Scroll cards just don't have like 3 or 4 extra cards in there that have all that info. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think that was kind of a bad choice, if I'm being honest. Because like I'm buying the battle tome. I have to. Like, of course. Now, like in the future, with one of my like, with one, I mean, again, it depends on whether the lore is in there or not. Because some of my armies, that's important to me. But like, you know, I don't know. Actually, that's pretty important for most of my armies. But like maybe Cruel Boys or something like that, or War Clans, I could see. I don't know. I feel like I'm spending the most money on that. Like I'm spending over $100 on the battle tome and the War Scroll cards. Like, couldn't you have just thrown in a couple extra cards that have my spells and stuff like that? You know, I think that would have been nice. But
yeah, it's like I said, the regular cards don't have that, so that you don't have the option. But I think the idea of the gamer edition is cool.
I do too. I like that.
I probably wouldn't buy one just because like I find that those cards are usually useful for like 3 or 4 months. And then most of the time, actually there's been several times where when I first started going to tournaments last year, I would hand someone the card and they'd be like, cool, I'm going to check the app, just because it could have changed by now. And that's a totally valid thing to do because it probably did or could have, right?
Yeah, so true.
So it's nice to have that like visual reminder, but it might just be wrong after 4 months.
I generally know when it's wrong. Like I still remember like when Plague Monks changed in 2nd edition for Skaven. You know what I mean? And I still don't own any. I mean, I own Plague Monks, but they're just not put together. You know what I mean? I just don't really like the models, but like I still remember that kind of thing. But like because back when I was just playing Skaven, I had everything memorized. I didn't need the War Scroll cards or the book or anything. But now that I'm playing like several armies consistently on the channel, and it's usually on a rotation as well, I find that sometimes I just conflate stuff, especially when we're live. It's, you know, you're just, I don't know. I kind of get lost in the lens a little bit sometimes and whatever. A little bit nervous, maybe, I don't know. But regardless, like I find that the War Scroll cards are good for that. I'm going to get them for Skaven. I don't know that I'm going to get them. I don't know that I'm going to get them for other armies though. Cause I just like, what are they like $40? Like $37.50 or $40 or something like that. Like that's a lot of money, man, for, you know,
It is quite a bit. Yeah.
yeah.
If you're ever deciding between like getting the cards and getting more models or something, you should just get more models for sure.
Because like everyone, like no one has enough models. Like no one has, you know, you should just buy more models. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah. You should increase the size of your pile of shame.
yeah,
Always.
always. They do
Otherwise,
hold
it
their.
might disappear.
That would be awful. You know what though? Like at one point, I didn't have a pile of shame. Like I did, like it. I did exist at one point in time without a pile of shame.
Before you played Warhammer.
Even after, at one point, I
What?
I actually did. Yeah, like so, and then I repainted my Skaven. Like I actually made a pile of shame out of nothing at one point. But like my point is though is that it didn't feel that good. Like I actually didn't. It didn't feel that good. Like I'm probably unique in that. Yo, Big Ron. Congratulations to all community for getting these two dudes back on the tube. On YouTube. Sorry, I misread that. Yo, thank you so much. What a lovely message. Yo, okay, Sean's here. What up, Sean? Can I tell people, Sean? That's the only... Can I tell people, Sean? 5 words for you. I have. Can I tell people, Sean?
Maybe even have some visuals. You never know.
I'll wait for. That's true.
But
I can use the visuals, Sean. Like if you, I have them available to me. So if you want me to, yes.
yeah. Also what Big Ron is referencing, we just recently I built the stream PC just before heading up to Prince George. This week we're going to be setting up like all of the last little bits to make sure that everything's going on. We're going to put up like we're going to be doing like test streams and stuff like that. We're not sure if we're going to do it like available to channel members or yet, or maybe we will, but it just won't be enjoyable content. But
it will not be. I'll make sure. But
yeah.
like what we could do, and this is I'm just thinking like off the top of the dome right now. But what we could do is we could make it unlisted and then post it in the Discord if people just kind of want to hang out and like see what we're doing.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
Then they could actually consent to it being an IT stream.
Exactly. Yeah.
Instead of being surprised by that being the case. So,
I kind of like it being a surprise, but fair enough.
Yeah, and then next week we're aiming to do our first live stream with the new stream PC.
I can't repeat Ladificus's comment, but it's mwah. Or actually, I guess I could just censor it a little bit. Ladificus says, and I used to poop my diaper too, Rob, which is also around the last time I didn't have a pile of shame. You had a pile of shame in your diaper. So it was never true, Ladificus. Oh, man. He says, sure does not sound... Maybe I'll wait then, Sean, and we'll reveal it. Maybe that's better, actually. Maybe we'll reveal that, you know, for the first stream or something like that. And I'll be sure to put... Sean does amazing... Actually, yeah. They'll kind of give it away, too. I'll save it, and then it sounds like you want... Like, I think it's better, right? Anyway, welcome to the stream. Dudes of Sigmar said, I just tossed 3 sets of War Scroll cards from last edition. I just did too. And one of them... Oh, no, I kept one of them because it was unused. It was unopened in the freaking package. I'm hoping that maybe I can like talk to GW because sometimes they used to do that for the battle tomes. So, Wahapedia and print them on paper. Yeah, I mean, you could really just like, you could literally just take pictures or something and print them out. It's true. The War Scroll cards are like really, like they're nice though. They're handy and the right size and everything. And I mean, I could also laminate them, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They used to come with tokens too, which was nice. So you didn't have to like make your own, but now that we're kind of making our own anyway. I don't know. The main reason I'm getting them this time is for the stream, because like that way, if it's just there, it doesn't take me like a minute to look it up on on my phone or on a tablet or something like that. Judges in the house, but just a bit late. Welcome. What a nice thing to say. Big Ron says, AOS is a better place that you two are here. What a kind thing to say. I'm slightly disappearing into the Skaven. It's just not going to work for me. No. Yours will just zoom in on you too.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, Razor, who is Jesse Day in the chat, says, Carson, you and I have to have a throwdown next year. Jesse Day is the winner of Northern Waste, actually. Came in first place. Beat Matthias, in fact. So congratulations to him. Yeah. Actually, do you want to talk about Northern Waste a bit?
Yeah, that's great. I was actually just about to suggest it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Which is half of the title of the stream.
Whatever. The most important thing is Skavens.
That's right.
Before we do, Keith says, my turn is I have the cards. I'm thinking of just Wahapedia printing the army rolls. I don't feel like paying $98 for a codex that has been changed so much. Yeah, it's been changed a lot. I don't blame you at all. Hardest game of his life. Wow. Yeah,
still 40 out him. Yikes.
That's true. Did you hear? Yeah, if only Matthias had listened to Eric's advice that I made up in the future ahead of time, it would have been so much better, you know? Anyway, Carson went to Northern Waste, as did Dale, Matthias, Kenrick, some other people from our club that I don't know if they want to be mentioned. So I know Andy doesn't care. So Andy, yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. We also gained a club member at Northern Waste. Bobo, who you might have seen from the...
didn't ask.
Oof. All right, show's over, everyone. Hope you have a good night.
I mean, that's all, folks.
Yeah, this is Saga of Dice, in and out. Which is something I messed up on the weekend. There's a funny moment. So
you're gonna have to explain that.
Okay. Yeah. So over the weekend, or on the Friday, Damon and Roma of Dudes of Sigmar were graciously hosting a lot of people for a barbecue.
Oh, cool.
Just to hang out, have some drinks, have some food. A lot of people brought
Wait, the Dudes of Sigmar are from Prince George?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just assumed they were all I always assumed they were just kind of Ontario degens or something.
No, they're from Prince George. Also, Moss
so
Dog Gaming,
awesome.
who was in the chat earlier, also from Prince George. Moss was playing in the tournament.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of content creators in BC.
What?
We have Party at the All Points based out of Sparwood, Dayton.
Play on Tabletop.
Play on Tabletop is huge,
Huge, insane.
Dwarfs all of us.
Yeah. All of the rest of us combined, including the bigger channels. Yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, so Damon pulled out the mics to do a bit of a, pre-tournament, kind of getting everybody's thoughts. And I know that Dale, Roman, myself, Matthias, Kenrick all talked on it. And I was the last one. Sorry? That's true. We're not mics, but he's kind of confused. But
okay.
Yeah, he had us talk, and I was the last one. And I do this thing for every podcast where every time I sense it's going to end, I just close the tab immediately. So I've never actually heard the end of a Dudes of Sigmar podcast. So at the end, Damon just goes, Carson, how about you do the in and out? You got the honors. And I was like, in and out. And my voice cracked, and just everyone burst out laughing. And that's the end of the first of 2 episodes they released yesterday. So definitely go check those out.
Man.
but it was hilarious. Just like complete panic
That's
washes over me. I'm like, in and out.
in and out.
Yeah.
I'll get your taco too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's the best though. Just when your voice cracks in like this comedic way, just like
Yeah, just pure panic. I just got into like a deep dive on like what I thought about ogres and the addition and stuff. And then I'm just like, in and out. Yeah, let's go.
oh, that's perfect. Um, yeah, I was actually just talking about. Actually, it's been a little while, but like, when were we talking about like how good their podcast is? Was it like
Every day, actually. Yeah.
yeah, every day? We just like, can you believe how awesome they're? No, I'm serious though.
Yeah.
Like,
Morning, Rob.
we were like we were in the studio and we were I can't remember if we were like setting up before we were about to play. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Oh no, Kenrick is a huge fan.
Yep.
Yeah, so he brings them up a lot for sure. And they're both gems of people for sure. Like we've met them at 3 tournaments now, 3 different events. The first one would have been Cake or Death, and then we saw them at LVO again. And then or no, other way around. LVO, then Cake or Death, and then now Northern Wastes. And Kenrick would have seen them last year's Northern Wastes too, so 4 for him. But yeah, great people, great podcast, highly recommend for sure. Chris asks, what armies did I play against? Round 1, I played against Seraphon. Round 2, I played against...
Wait. Why didn't you give us... Tell us about them.
No.
Set up a little suspense.
All right. Also, I sent you the link
Idiot.
to the CP if you want to kind of follow.
Oh, sure. Yep. Okay. You sent it over the Facebook?
Fake book.
Fake book.
Yeah,
Bing, bing. Right. I'm sure everyone heard it. Just come over right now, even though you sent it 4 minutes ago, apparently.
That's right.
Okay. But thank goodness it's like a nice dark website that's not going to wash out my skin like a floodlight.
Yeah.
Moving
so if you go to placings, you can kind of see like a spoiler of what happened in the event.
Okay. That's what I didn't want going. Yep.
Sounds good.
Moving along.
But if you go to the pairings, and you can click the little arrows to go all the way back to round 1 if you kind of want to follow along, then you can just search for my name.
Carbson Whittlemaker.
Yes.
Wait. It's only showing me against just Jason.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That if you have to go back in the rounds.
Oh, I see. Round 5. Got it. Okay. Round Uno. Okay. Found it.
Cool. So my first opponent was Derek Briggs, who was playing Seraphon. His list, we did review on the channel, actually. It was the one with 18 Agrodons in it.
It's so awesome.
It's
such a great list. It's so cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. Like tons of dinosaurs. Derek's a great guy. We had a good game against each other. The Iron Guts were just the absolute stars of that game, where they just picked up like 12 Agrodons by themselves, I think.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
What?
So I'm sorry for that.
You should be.
But yeah, that was an explosive
I warned everyone
game.
about you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then round 2.
Yep.
Bit of a team kill.
Kenrick, God dang it.
Sorry. So here was the problem: is I was met with
a
conundrum, right?
Okay.
Where Kenrick said that if he goes 3-2, he's going to shave his beard into a mustache. Kenrick had won his first game, which means that if I threw the game against him, he would be 2-0, which means that he'd be very close to. He just needs one more win out of 3 to shave his beard, and I really need that to happen.
Yeah.
So what I settled on was, if I win, it's on purpose, and if I lose, it's on purpose, because I wanted him to shave his mustache.
Yeah.
But secretly, I was trying.
I
But I was covered either way. So
yep.
Win-win, right?
In fighting games, that's called an option select.
Yeah.
It's true.
Also, Ludovicus says, I laughed so hard, obviously no offense to him, when I heard that the Mangler's spam list came dead last. Yeah, poor Justin. Poor Justin. That was who Kenrick grudged to.
Oh, no. Oh, man. And here I thought Kenrick was a good person.
Oh
Damn.
no, God no. Why would you think that?
I don't know. He's so sweet to your face, you know.
Your face. Yeah. No, I had a great game with Kenrick, obviously. Both of us just flubbed our first turn battle tactic. He flubbed his, and then I basically just chose not to do mine. Like I was just like, I only have to walk onto these 2 points, and I shall simply walk onto one of them. How about that? And then,
Interesting.
yeah. I don't know what happened. Something
Having
crazy.
too much fun.
Exactly.
Yep.
Then round 3.
Round 3 is
another team kill.
Oh no! Oh Jesus!
And this time, I felt bad this time too. But the Iron Guts killed 12 Rot Guts in 1 turn, which was just. Oh no, it was like 10. But still,
that's insane.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to kill more than 2, with way more points.
I ended up. So he double turned me, and then I double turned him right back, and then kind of ended the game there. But it was a good game. You know, Dale's a great player.
Yep. Very good
But
player.
yeah, those Iron Guts were just gross that game for sure. Because what they did is I walked up, I shut off the first block of Iron Guts wards, with the once per game thing from the Stonehorn artifact.
Wow.
And then the Iron Guts just ate them. And then they stepped forward into the next block on their second fight activation and ate those ones too. And they're Rend 3 on the charge because I gave them +1 Rend into infantry, and it was just like, yeah, it was terrible.
Jeez. That's wild.
Yeah.
My God. Okay.
Then my 4th game was against a guy named John Harder, who was playing Cities of Sigmar. All humans, which was really cool. He had a general on Griffin and Talia Vedra, block of 20 Fusiliers. It was a good game. I appreciated it. We spent a lot of time afterwards just kind of like talking about list tech and 2, which I always really appreciate. Sometimes you finish a game and your opponent's like, a little down, which is totally understandable, and they don't really want to talk and they kind of go somewhere else.
I like how you insinuated that you're never down.
Of course I am.
He's lost before.
Yeah. But in this game, John was just like purely interested in knowing like what he could have done better, how his list could have been better. And it was really, really awesome to be able to kind of chat with someone and truly just kind of explore like what, the extent of their army can be. So I appreciated that about John a lot. So
yeah. I think that's a really fun thing too. So yeah, I agree. Okay. And then the last game.
Last game had to happen one way or another into Nighthaunt. Matthias and I, so going into round 5, there were 3 4-0s. There was Matthias with Daughters of Cain. There was me with Ogre Maw Tribes, and then there was Jesse Day with Nighthaunt, who's in the chat here and also just recently joined the Discord. It just so happened that Matthias and Jesse were going into that round with more points, and the very last round was Swiss. So number 1 and number 2 play against each other. And then I got paired down into the next Nighthaunt player, who's actually 3-1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I had a great game with Jason. Nighthaunt is always very difficult to deal with, of course. Like they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeve.
I don't know how you beat them. Like I know we're playing 2 very different armies, but like yeah.
Ogres is one of the armies that's like somewhat equipped to do it.
Okay.
Just because, so with a lot of armies, like you have like 1 or 2 hammers and maybe that's it kind of thing. Or even if you have a lot of hammers, you just don't quite ask a DPS check that you're necessarily passing. Whereas ogres are kind of doing both, where it's like my list is, 170 or 180 wounds, and I can easily do that much in a turn if I want to, right?
God dang.
And it's lightning. So basically, I'm like relatively keeping up with the Nighthaunt army as ogres speed wise. I am by far out damaging them, and then I'm just not as tanky. That's the problem. But I have the wound density to kind of make up for it. So he double turned me again. That's what happened. It hurt, but I double turned him back and basically ended the game.
Wow.
And that's kind of what happens with ogres. And even if I didn't double turn him, it would have been a very close game. I think I still would have been able to pull it through, just because I think going into the double turn, he had like Lady Olander and 20 Blade Geist, and that was it. And then the Dreadblades and stuff too. Like that would have been rough, but it would have been manageable, I think. But the double turn just sealed the deal. Still a great game. Night Haunt's still a scary army. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, wow.
But at the end, if you want to go to the placings, we see that there were 2 5-0s, one of which was myself, but one of which was also Jesse, who scored more points and ended up taking best general. So congratulations to you, Jesse.
Yeah. Well deserved.
From my understanding, that's your first GT win, so huge props to you. That's awesome.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, if that's not the case, I'm sorry. but it's always amazing, like, you know, obviously getting your first GT win, but also seeing someone do it too. Like it's nice to have more people, you know, getting that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if it's the same people showing up every time and just like winning every single tournament, that can be kind of demoralizing for the rest of the community. So yeah. Also, I've got I should have taken it out. Jesse's part of the Bald Bros Club. They gave me a little 3-inch widget. So that says Bald Bros on it. Yeah.
You get a head slap. I mean, yeah, I love those 3-inch widgets, and that sounds like an amazing one, actually.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Last year he went. I think his Razor is Jesse, right? He says last year I only went 2 and 3, so nicely done.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, because Jesse got kind of gypped by a certain other YouTuber, let's look at his list. Just because the other one that decided to...
Is that because he's playing Night Haunt?
Yeah.
That's not cool. I mean, whatever. That's, you know... I know they mentioned you, but... You know... And I appreciate that very much, obviously. But, I don't know. This is Jesse's moment in the sun, man.
It's his moment in the sun. He deserves it, okay?
Yeah.
And he didn't just play... So, like, the standard Night Haunt net list is basically, like, 40 Blade Guys, 20 Dreadblades... Yeah. Or not Dreadblades, sorry. Hex-Wraiths. And then 4...
he's got Larry the Downer.
Exactly.
Or Alan the Downer in here.
He's got some Miremorn Banshees, which is pretty cool. Allrock the Drowner, yeah. He's got a Krulgas Cruciator, which is a cool little piece of tech. You know, they were telling me about it the night before the tournament, where Reichner basically has to deal a damage to himself to be able to, you know, like be a double caster and +1 to cast. But the Krulgas basically says that he can ignore the first damage of every phase, so he basically gets to do that for free. So that's kind of a cool little piece of tech.
Yep. Very cool.
Just because, you know, damaging yourself over time is a really difficult thing to deal with. So
that's true.
I like this list. And Miremorn Banshees are quite slappy. You know, that's 8 of them, and I think they have like 2 attacks each at D3 damage each. Like, it's not nothing. Lady Olander is always really cool.
Unbind if you throw a spell that hurts them or whatever, or affects them at a unit nearby. So that just adds to your ever increasing pool of unbinds and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it took Chthonic sorceries. He didn't take mandatory conjurations. So that's another.
Wow. Yeah. That's the Night Haunt spells. Yeah. We talked about this list because I remember going why did he take the Krulgas Cruciator? Like, I didn't even get it.
Yeah.
So props to him. That's awesome.
Yeah. So congratulations, Jesse. And he says they can fit with the Drowner really easily in the back 40 of the table. I assume he's talking about the Banshees, which would make sense. Miremorn Banshees, because Ulrich the Drowner has to pick a unit that's wholly within 6 of them to teleport them outside of 7 of an enemy.
Oh, I see.
And if you have like 20 Blade Guys, that's actually not an easy thing to do.
No.
You have to like wrap him pretty closely.
Yeah. Huh.
So it's clear that
the Dreadblades already teleport. So.
Yeah. Dreadblades are like the number one thing that annoys me in Night Haunt lists. That's my only thing that I like about. It's like, why does it happen in my turn too?
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe that's why they're taking a little more time, is to like not just touch the obvious stuff, but to go like a little bit more of a deep dive, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Jesse, I think also came like his army looked really good too. I should have got pictures of it. That's my bad. He was also up there for best overall. So for each category they basically announced like the top 3. And Kenrick was actually top 3 sports despite having a turd of a list. But no, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Ken.
Wait, when you say turd of a list, what do you mean?
As in, like he's being a turd by taking it.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he was taking like the what are they called? Long strikes. And
he's got long strikes, paladors, Krondis, prosecutors, vigilers
like the best
for the
stuff.
To hit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, got it. I see.
And to be 100% clear to anyone out there, like that's fine. You can do that. It's okay. We're just giving Kenrick crap for it.
He's our buddy.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the top 3 for best overall was like, if I'm not mistaken, Jesse, who ended up winning the tournament, was number 3. Matthias was number 2, which is hilarious because he brought Dale's army. So, and then I ended up taking number 1 for best overall. And then our clubmate, who you mentioned might not want to be mentioned on this YouTube channel. Sorry, won best best favorite army from the players, which is really cool.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta ask him because I want to give him his props, but like, I don't know the context of. Yeah, but amazing painter. Was it his LRL?
Sure was.
Nice.
And now it's been narrowed down. Doxed. Got him. Got him.
There are a lot of people who have LRL in our club.
That's true.
Well,
how many of them went to this event?
Damn it. God dang it. I am stupid. And loopy. If you hadn't said that, though, no. Right.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Congrats to all the people who won awards. I know Matthias ended up getting best order. Baudouin Calabo, who's a new member of Warp Dice. He just joined as of this tournament. Ended up getting best destruction. Bobo. Yeah, Bobo in the chat. You guys have seen him in the Discord plenty, I'm sure. Congrats to him.
Absolutely.
And also shout out to Damon, who I think was named Dirty Diane in the tournament. For getting best chaos.
Oh man, that's godlike. Dirty Diana. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, there's like
I like that Chris said in the chat, I have LRL, but I'm not in the club, so it's not me. It's like,
right below Dale.
By deduction.
Yeah. It sounds like I genuinely think I would prefer to go to Northern Wastes than to go to LVO. That might sound kind of extreme, but like the convivial, like awesome atmosphere is like what I'm all about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it won't be as competitive, and I don't think anyone would like take umbrage with me saying that compared to like LVO or, you know,
literally the biggest AOS tournament that ever was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. But I just think that's where I would want to go the most, you know? I mean, actually there's a couple of like really awesome. Dale's got a tournament coming in February. I didn't think about it, but he's got an awesome tournament, Cake or Death. Very original concept where you can like, there's like a cake competition and everyone makes like themed Age of Sigmar cakes. And I think Eric won last year with his like ziggurat, like spawning pool cake with like little like Jello dinosaurs and like it was so rad. So he's defending
Had
his
little
title.
gummy frogs in it too.
Gummy
Yeah, it was
frogs,
great.
that's right. Oh man.
Yeah. From what I can tell, next year too, Caker Death is going to be bigger. I think Northern Waste too is actually going to be bigger as well because they're looking to go to a new venue. There were some problems with the venue this time around, apparently,
Okay.
where there was like, they weren't getting. I mean, again, not to throw any certain venues under the bus, but like,
Well,
yeah,
and to be fair, you're going to Atlanta this year, and you got actual food poisoning.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the bar is very low. From my perspective, it was fine. It was, it was like basically just a room where everyone was hanging out, and the people were amazing. So
And
that was good enough for me.
Just to be clear, you're talking about Prince George was fine. Their venue was fine.
Yeah,
In Prince George, yeah.
But they're looking to change the venue next year, which allows them to expand a little bit. And I know that they don't want to expand like a crazy amount, just because it's, it can be a lot.
Yep.
If you like double in size in 1 year, that would be pretty crazy. But there'd definitely be the interest. I think like it's sold out pretty quick. So
I mean, like the trophies, just the trophies are like they're the best in the industry. Like no one has cooler trophies than that. I'm sorry. Like it's amazing. So yeah, I definitely think that would be my top. Northern Waste next year? Heck yeah. Yeah, Big Ron, you got it. You got to go, man.
yeah, and like you were saying about like Northern Waste versus LVO, it's two different things too. Where like if you go to LVO, it's Las Vegas, right? Like it's a huge event and it's a big spectacle. But Northern Waste, the community is just like so gold that you show up, everybody's super nice, and you feel like you've made 50 new friends by the end of the weekend. So
true. Like
without having to do any coke.
You can if you want. Actually, no, don't do that. God dang it. What was I saying? Well, the nice thing too, like, I think the hard part for a lot of people about Prince George is that it is out of the way, but you do get that small town kind of like really friendly vibe when you go there. And I wasn't even like I've never been there for a tournament. I've only just been there, and I really like it. So yeah. Thinking next year we go Thursday night and then do a fun games day on Friday. Cool. So we can play the TOs. That's neat.
Is that in reference to Cake or Death or Northern Wastes?
I don't know. Jim says no Coke. What's the point? You could do like telling people what they can and can't do. Coca-Cola is fine though, Jim. Just in case there was like you got your wires crossed with me, and maybe
snorting Coca-Cola is my favorite thing to do.
Oh, it hurts so much. It hurts.
Why would you know that information? Rob, look at the camera and tell us why.
I've been to university.
So have I.
It's just a dare. It was just a dare. It's like there's a thing in. I mean, they probably have them over here too, but there's like this thing like when you go out with people called Butsagame, and it's just like it means like penalty game or something like that, right? And that was what I was told to do, and Mama didn't raise no bitch. It does hurt though. It really, really hurts, especially in Japan, because there's way more fizz in the Coke over there. It's like the best tasting Coke in the world by a country freaking mile, but there's way more fizz in it, and it hurts. It really hurts. I had to get like a noticeable amount. Anyway.
Oh my. Grace says, "Oh, my wife runs a hotel. We can get you guys discounted rooms next year. Hit me up for Oh, I definitely will."
Damn.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you.
Wow.
Tom says,
Northern
"What do you guys
Waste.
think is the easiest army to play and the hardest? Let's not include Sons of Behemoth." Easiest army to play? There's a couple pretty easy ones. I I agree that like oops all gluttons ogres is definitely just like you just run at your opponent and that's it. Any army, even if it's really simple, like can be kind of elevated to great heights by a really good pilot, just because the positioning game in Age of Sigmar is such a huge deal. So yeah, I would say oops all gluttons ogres definitely of the easiest, other than Sons of Behemoth. Night Haunt, like current spam, if you do like full just like hex rates and blade geist and stuff, is also just quite easy. If you don't put any tech in the list of any kind. Then the hardest is probably going to be either like Skaven or Daughters of Cain, maybe.
I don't know about daughters, but yeah, I definitely been
Yeah,
feeling that for Skaven.
Gitz all Trogs is also pretty easy. Any of the big spam armies right now are going to be easier just because you're spamming stuff, and that's about it. But yeah, Skaven or Daughters of Cain are probably the two hardest, I would say, at the moment.
Yeah. And it doesn't like the other thing too is that like they're also kind of weak. So like that just kind of makes them harder too, I think. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
if you just have like undercut they are more difficult to play, but like I know Daughters is like depending on whatever week you're basing it on, like you can see that like Daughters, Skaven are near the bottom. FEC have been near the bottom. I don't really know why too much about them. I don't know if they're hard to play or not. Like the hard thing about them is getting the what do you call it? Like getting the NDP and not dying before you get to spend it or something. But I don't know. They might be hard too. I'm not sure. Who else is hard?
Cities is probably going to be a hard one to play.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Just simply because like it's not a spam army, but it has the capability of being a top tier army, I think, with the tools that it has. But it does have multiple tools that it has to use correctly in order to kind of get there. So it just requires a good pilot, I think.
Right. Another easy one I think is probably, maybe you disagree, but Slaves to Darkness. I've heard a lot of people say it's pretty simple and easy.
Slaves has always just been like we have very good war scrolls and we beat the crap out of people, but we're slow usually is like the trade-off.
Right. But like they're faster now, right? Like isn't there?
No, they're slower now, if anything. There's a 3d6 charge, yeah. That was always a thing. But the previous build, which was like Knights of the Empty Throne, I think, allowed cavalry to run and charge. So it was like you could be zooming Varanguards 16 inches across the table and smacking someone. Whereas there's just no way to, and 3d6 charging on top of that. But there's just no way to do that now. You're locked at 10 inches most of the time.
Right. Huh. So 10 inches. I mean, that's still pretty good though. If you just take a bunch of knights and Varangard and stuff like that.
It's pretty good. But it ain't.
I don't know. I guess I'm just comparing it to like most of the other things I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like,
I think if you can't get up to like 12 to 14 inches minimum, it's kind of like you're just going to be outpaced by what's currently the most powerful stuff, like ogres and Night Haunt and Stormcast. Or Stormcast is not the most powerful, but they're good. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. I like it. Oh, hey, Pat. College. In Italy, we made the students coffee. Picture an Italian percolator coffee, make the coffee, then make it again. But the second time you use the coffee, you must, instead of water. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that sounds rough. Coffee. Phrasing is an issue sometimes. Daughter of Keck. Working on Skaven as we speak. Hell yeah. Maybe you shouldn't have started a Skaven army. I mean, I've literally since like before we even saw any models or even knew that they were going to be for sure that we were going to be like the opponent to the Stormcast. They're like whatever faces Stormcast or Space Marines tends to be bad for most of the edition. Necrons in 9th edition 40k. They were bad until like the very end when they just got like some totally OP secondaries. Tyranids were, bad, just really bad. It just tends to be the case. Cruel Boys were bad all last edition. Nighthaunt were terrible until this edition. They were terrible for 2 editions for having the crime of being in the starter box with Stormcast back in 2018. So 6 years of bad for being in in that box, right? So, yes. Sorry, just to finish that real quick.
Sure.
So we kind of knew that like Skaven probably weren't going to be that good, but the models are so beautiful, and the models will always be there. So like if you do like the models, then I actually don't. I think now is the best time to get into Skaven because you can have them all painted up and all awesome, and then you can just wait until they're decent, and play them then.
Yeah, I will say one final answer to that. Most versus least complicated thing. Cruel Boys, I think, is like one of the best examples of a complicated army that requires a good pilot. Otherwise, it's just crap.
Yeah.
if you're not like piloting them correctly, and we see that reflected in their win rate right now. We're like, I think they're one of the lowest in the game. They're like, really not doing well right now. But then you see people like, granted, these are excellent players, but you see people like Jacob Brandon and Fred Schmidt doing incredibly well with them. Just because if you have those tools and that like kind of like trickiness in a list and a really good pilot behind it, it becomes like really unpredictable and hard to deal with for most players. So I would say Cruel Boys might even be the most requiring of a really skilled pilot
They
to
might
do
be.
well.
I think they do have like juice, so it's kind of like you'll notice it more. You know what I mean? But like, there were no Skaven at Tacoma. I think there were no Skaven at Northern Wastes. I think like the really smart people have just like, no, I'm not gonna try. Like I know like Matthias, like we know Matthias, he got 2nd overall, at Worlds a few years ago. Very strong player, and he's just not playing Skaven at all. And I think that's smart. Unless you want to play them, which I do, unfortunately. Alex said, I'm really enjoying my I don't know. I'm just kidding. And I'm really enjoying my Aiden Deepkin in my practice games. They're ridiculously unforgiving of mistakes, even more so than last edition. I think they are a little. I think that's true, because we're even more elite now. Like everything's more elite, and they're still just as fragile. And they've gotten a little bit slower. There's some cool things. Like I find that like the Ishlian Guard are like a little bit better for that. But yeah. Ina Deepkin are another difficult one, I think. Moss Dog is very in love with his Cruel Boys, and he plays them very well. Nice. That's awesome. And you should be like, they're a super cool army, and like their rules on paper are so freaking awesome. I think that maybe just some points changes and like they're probably fine. Or what? Like what else do you do with them?
Cruel Boys?
Yeah.
I think it's okay to have an army that does well with a really good pilot, and that's kind of it, right? Like, if you think of any game, like there's characters to bring up fighting games. Like, there's plenty of characters that are going to be terrible if it's a player that's not even bad, but just like new at the game and just doesn't quite have the experience.
Yep.
Then,
but in fighting games, like in Street Fighter V, for example, there was this character called Minot. And she was this really, really neat character. She was like this Egyptian fortune teller, and she was like kind of like a trap character where she would throw out her crystal ball, and then she could leave it out there, and she had like the hardest combos in the game, blah 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 blah. But because she was so difficult to play, like, or even we'll see it right now in Street Fighter 6, like the characters that are easier to play are a little bit weaker. They're a little bit weaker, and the characters that are really hard to play generally speaking, are higher tier. Like Akuma, he's got the lowest health in the game. He's the only character with less than 1,000 health, but he's good. But you need a good pilot, because if you don't have a good pilot, then you just got a regular character with less health, and that's bad, But yeah. I mean, that was a question, by the way. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's true. But I think there should be some allowance. Like, if they're more difficult to play, I think they should, like, if they're like 50% more difficult to play, I think it's okay if they're like 5 or 10% better. Now, this is all very ethereal. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Trees play like Dalsim. Street Fighter. God dang. Yeah, Dalsim is like one of the hardest characters to play in the game. So that makes sense, because they're having a tough time of it, from what I understand.
I'm curious to see if the change to 9 inches instead of 6 inches makes a big difference in how they perform.
I hope so. I mean, that will help with the ease, because I remember in last edition, Eric was like at near the end, whenever he played Sylvaneth, he was just playing the whatever subfaction gave you an extra 3 inches on the radius of the trees. I think it went from 9 to 12, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Maybe it went from 6 to 9, the same thing. But regardless, like, yeah, like that's rough, because like now there's not even as much overgrown terrain. Like, you don't have overgrown terrain and trees, you just have your trees, right? So
yeah, and you can kill the trees.
And you can kill the trees. That's true. God dang it. Yeah.
Heath says, only problem with those armies is that some people regret buying them. They see them doing really well and think they're super strong. Then they get them and just get their butt whooped. That's true. That does suck. Like, if you're just getting into the game, and let's say you buy like Cruel Boys or like last edition Zinch or something.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah, because there's definitely not nearly as much investment in a Street Fighter character as there is a Warhammer.
No, I mean, no, unless you're like a pro or whatever, like you're trying to make your life out of it. But yes, that's true. There's also less on the line, though. You can't win $1 million playing. Not yet. But soon.
I hope you never can.
Yeah, me too. I'm just kidding. But like but that is a good point, though, because like if you get into it, you just, but then again, you're not really seeing people play Age of Sigmar as much when you're getting into the game. Like, when I went into like my local store, and then I was just trying to figure out Skaven back in like 2016. And then, so I just like Googled stuff, you know what I mean? And then eventually I found out, I didn't even know that battle reports like were a thing. I didn't know that they existed, And so then, because when I was playing when I was a kid, they were just in magazines. There was no such thing as a video battle report. They just had like squares, like blue and red squares, right? So, and I actually still think those things were really cool. Those battle reports were actually like, I would like to go back and read some of them, but I'm just trying to think like, but like, I think the point is a really good one, where it's like, you go into a store, you don't like necessarily, you're not basing stuff off of tournament results necessarily. For most people, it's like you go into the store and you're like, oh my God, Cruel Boys are sick. They look like, Tolkien style orcs, and they're like, they live in the swamp with poison. Like, oh, that's so rad. Like, I'm going to get me some of them. And then you play your first game and you're just like, I just got destroyed. Like, this game sucks. You know what I mean? And like, that might be your takeaway, and that would be really unfortunate. Now, of course, to a certain extent, like you're dependent on like your community for setting up something, like a way of an on-ramp for new players. But like, I think the point is really strong.
Yeah, I do think that that's probably kind of the beauty of Spearhead, is that now you can buy these intro boxes, and it's a very self-contained set of rules, which is simplified and hopefully gives you somewhat of a taste of how this army is supposed to perform.
Right.
then at least you have Spearhead to lean back on instead of like this full army.
That's a
Because
really good point.
yeah, and I agree with what Leviticus was saying in the chat, which is the question really comes down to who do you feel that GW should be targeting for balancing? Because if you balance purely based on what Tom Guan thinks, it's going to be a much different game than what you do based on, most of the players playing, right? Like, because there's
Right.
going to be people who play like twice a year or maybe like once a year. Should you balance it based on them? Probably not. You also
Definitely
probably
not.
shouldn't. Yeah, and you probably shouldn't be balancing it just based on the Tom Guans of the game too. Those people
Yep.
are really valuable because they're going to poke holes in every single thing
Yep.
that you come up with rules wise, but not necessarily balancing to their desires, I guess, is the important
Yes.
thing.
Yes. I think you nailed it. Like when it comes to fighting games, you can't balance the game based off of everyone. Like I might have brought this up before, but like there's a character called Manon. She's like this French judo ballerina chick. Really weird design. Not my thing at all. But if you look at the statistics for online play, she has like the highest win rate of any character in Master League, right? But she's a dog shit character that does terribly at tournament. So you for it depends on the thing, but like for our game, I used to think you had to base it only on tournaments, or because we don't have pro players. So I actually like, and I'm not saying win percentages. Like I actually have been thinking about this a lot recently, because like I just someone sent me the win rates recently on Honest Wargamer, and so then I put it up in the chat just because I thought it was interesting, and then there was like a bunch of comments like like win rates are stupid and then blah blah blah, and like just it, like it went back and forth and whatever, and I'm pretty divorced from it anyway, but like I don't know, like how else do they objectively try and figure out like how to balance the game? You know what I mean? Like they can't just use win rates. And I don't think anyone is saying that. Right? Because like
they don't.
No, and I know
like,
we know they don't, because like Gits were like sub 50%, and then they kept nerfing them even after they were sub 50%. They nerfed them like twice after they were sub 50%. So we know that they don't do that.
It's not even that. I remember like there was a couple meta watches back in third where they were talking about like some of the things that they actually do keep track of, and like the period of time that they wait. And they're saying that like I think that there has to be at least like 90 days of data or something like that. What they're looking at more so than like win rates is inclusion rates, and they have like basically a percentage that they never want to get above when it comes to like what manifestation lore are people bringing, like what units are they putting in their army, what sub-faction are they taking, and that's the kind of thing that drives their decisions more than anything, it seems, or at least they claim.
But then that's not totally true for every army, right? So like for example, in third edition, every Idoneth Deepkin army had eels in it. This is before we got the shark thing, right? And every army had eels in it, and every army had the Achillean king. But Idoneth Deepkin were doing quite bad, so they actually lowered the points on the king. They lowered the points on the eels, I think, 3 times in a row. And the sharks, and they changed their rules. So like, you know what I mean? Like, so they also like, it's not like totally true. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it depends on like how they're doing. Like they must use the win rates to a certain extent, right? You know what I mean? Because like,
I'm sure it's factored in. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the king was in every army, and I think they lowered his points twice. So my thought, Rob is still rubbing salt in my scars. I'm fighting for the people, Leviticus, not against them. I said from the beginning, it was terrible the way that they kept nerfing Gits. Like I thought that they were, anyway, they did the same thing with Tyranids in 9th edition. It was bad. what was I going to say? Oh, what about this though? Okay, so I don't think that this is the way. I don't think the way is that you look at just win rates. Obviously, what if you use, instead of win rates, what if we look at how like the percentage of tournament wins? We only look at like the top, like whatever, whoever's winning tournaments, or like the top 3 or top 8s, and then use that as a gauge. And if like they're never in there, you know what I mean? Like Cities of Sigmar or whatever, then it's like, okay, then we need to look at stuff here.
Again, I'm sure that's factored in. Like, if it's anything like balancing video games, there's massive sets of data that can be parsed in different ways, and they probably have like a lot of different like composite metrics that they're using in order to actually do these things. I don't think it's never going to be any one thing. And like, sure, they might have stuff like that sets off alarm bells where it's like, it turns out 90% of the lists that win tournaments are Nighthaunt, even if, you know, the other 80% of the people bringing Nighthaunt are 0-5ing or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah. That's true, but they don't. I wish they would talk about it though. I wish they would kind of give more detail, because
it's tough, because like you can, they certainly can, and they have given a little more detail, but one issue is that if you give too much details, it can be gamed, right? If they give their entire formula for like, this is how like this is how we balance our game, this is how the points get calculated, you know, this is how we know when something needs to be addressed. All of a sudden, if you have very deterministic metrics, or sorry, very deterministic like results from the metrics, players can start tracking those things too, because we have access to all the same data via ITC, right?
Yep.
And all it takes is for, if something's getting a little too good, someone can maybe just like not take that for a little bit so that it doesn't get nerfed, right?
But
I know that's go ahead.
It won't happen though, right?
I know.
Yeah, okay.
But
okay.
I'm just saying that like they'll give the detail, and yeah, exactly as Alex said too, they're going to get whined at for it as well.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So like the example before was, they gave us, we were like, can you give us an idea? Can you give us a roadmap of what's coming out? They gave us a roadmap. They were off by like a couple of months for a few different things. It was during COVID, and everyone lost their goddamn minds. And so then they were like, okay, well, you taught us how to treat you, and we're just not going to do that, anymore. And so we didn't get roadmaps for a period of time. But like, okay, but if I said to you, Carson, right? Like, what if everyone said to me, like, Rob, you should stop calling everyone the C word, right? This is random. And I was like, okay, and then like a couple of like annoying people that were loud above the rest said, I don't like you anymore. You're not as much fun because you don't call people the C word anymore. And then I listened to them. It's still on me. Like, I think you should still do the best thing. You should still treat people and behave in the way that you think is best and that you would want to be treated, And so like the loud, obnoxious C words, I don't know why I chose this particular word. Anyway, but the loud, obnoxious idiots, in the community, like, I don't think we should be basing anything off of them. Like,
That's true.
And like, and we do try to like censor those people, like as a community. Like when we did get those roadmaps at the time, this is back in 3rd edition, near the start especially, people lost their minds, and we said on the freaking channel, like, shut up, like, they're giving us what we want. They're doing their best. Just shut up, you know? So, I don't know. Yeah, chicken hunter. That's the word. Oh, thanks for joining us, Tom. Sorry, you might be gone already, but we did enjoy having you. Warhammer lists Nighthaunt as having 17 X5Os, only tournaments above a certain size. Next highest is LRL at 9. That's actually really interesting, though. Like, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, they're doing well right now. But like, I think it's no secret what everyone views as or just what is performing the best right now.
Right.
So there's going to be a balance patch soon, I assume.
When, Carson?
There's rumors that it's going to be this week, but I don't know if that's true.
When, idiot? Oh, you said this week. I'm sorry.
Who knows? Like, some people say that we're not going to have one until like October. Some people think that, yeah. I hope that there's magically going to be one this week, just because this Saturday is the rules cutoff for North America Masters.
Oh, and shoot. Okay.
And then
I don't think they care about that, though, right?
No. There's definitely going to be one in time for the World Championships, conveniently.
Okay.
Which is in November.
I don't know why I thought this, but I thought like third week of September for a balance patch. Because it was you who said at one point that they're supposedly doing quarterly updates for balances, right? So if they do it in like end of September, then that means that it kind of lines up really well with when chapter approved and everything used to come out in December. But we've been seeing them in January lately, so I wouldn't be that surprised if it was October, right? I don't want it to be, though. Like, I really think it needs to be sooner than that.
Yeah, I think realistically, mid to late September is probably a good guess. Copium tells me it's going to be this week. And then...
That'd be so nice.
Doomers are saying it's not going to be until October, basically. That's kind of where we're at, I think.
I'm not a doomer. I just think it lines up with their release of the balance patch that they always give us in January. But then again, if every year they get later and later with the balance update, then we'll go back to September.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you think about it, yeah, I'm kind of a copium guy. Copium. Every year for the last 8 years, I've predicted that Skaven will get a release.
And you're right.
I'm right. Yeah. I'm batting 1,000 this year. I was reading Vizic's prayer. -1 attacks from an enemy unit. Doesn't say to a minimum of 1. That is in the main rules, right?
Core rules, yeah.
Core rules, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that with another thing, Pat, but that's a good pickup. I am just going to copy Carbon's list. Carbon copy. Hey! And practice it here in Wisconsin. That's smart. Do you go to what's Adam's event? I know he's not doing like Age of Sigmar anymore, but like they have like Wahapaka, I want to call it. Wapaka? I can't remember. Yeah. It sounded like a cool event though. I'm betting the balance pass will be the Thursday before Skaven release Battle Tome hits. So the 19th. Ooh, yeah, I was thinking like that Saturday, but they never do it on a Saturday, so I don't know why I ever thought that. That was dumb. I like that. I think that's I'm with Leviticus. I believe the core sorry. Matthew. Yeah, that's this week would be so nice, right, Warpstone? By the way, Warpstone, do I know you in real life? You said something earlier that made me think that I do. Only rend can be reduced to 0. Or a save. No? That's crazy. You said something earlier, and I was like, I think I know this mother effer. Anyway. Opposite sides of the world? You live in, where would it be? Like somewhere in the Indian Ocean? I think it's the opposite side of the world. I looked that up at one point. I don't remember what it was. Somewhere, I'm going to guess you're probably in Australia, is what you mean. Or maybe New Zealand. Could be South Africa. Anyway, Wapaka, had never been there, but always heard great things about it, mostly narrative events. Yeah, I think that it's mostly used for like really small games and like teaching like other games or something. I can't remember. I know Vince goes, and obviously Adam goes. And they were using it like to teach their newest game. What are you up to, Carson?
I'm searching for the actual thing.
Oh, the
that
rule?
says so just so Pat is just because of the attacks thing, I was like, what specifically does actually say that? Because I know that attacks are minimum of 1, but so if anyone's curious,
Okay.
it is section 27.0 in the core rules. Modifier order, the effects of some abilities modify a characteristic or rule unless stated otherwise. A characteristic or rule cannot be modified to less than 1.
To less than 1.
Yeah, the exception to this is rend, which can be modified to a minimum of 0.
Nice.
So there you go.
And I guess in a way, like your save, but that's not, you're modifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's not like going to 0. Keith said it in the chat because of the delay too. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Keith.
Damn delay. I'll get you. Oh man. Yeah, that would be wild.
Yep.
I feel like that would be kind of just a bad play experience too.
Yeah, but it's also why like the whole charge dice reduction thing always says to a minimum of 1 or a maximum of 3 or something like that. Every single ability says that in there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Carbson sounded cooler saying it. That's because Keith didn't say it. That's because you didn't say it, Keith.
He wrote it.
Yep. I mean, maybe you sounded cooler, like if you have like a cool mechanical keyboard. Click, 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 click. I love a good mechanical keyboard.
It says, and when it says you can pick 2 targets, it's 2 different targets. Yes. Yep. That was part of the FAQ where it specifies that if you pick multiple targets, they have to be different.
It's funny because like we had that in AOS 3 and most of the stuff that was like was associated with that all got like it got specific wording, like the aspect of the sea, arch warlock, all that stuff. And yet they still overlooked that in the core rules, even with the FAQ in AOS 3. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. One other thing is there's actually another reason why it doesn't work that way. Is because a unit cannot be affected by the same passive more than once. That's part of the rules of 1.
Oh, that's true, right?
Yeah. Where like you can't apply the same buff or debuff to a unit. So like you wouldn't be able to give a unit like -2 to hit with the same spell or -2 attacks with the same thing. Like it's
You can't give it more than 1. Yeah, that's something I didn't actually know was when I was playing. You can't give like plus like an additional pip of rend for infantry for like 2 different rules.
You can. That's a different reason why that doesn't work. Is because I'm assuming it's saying this thing gets anti-infantry +1 rend, and you have 2 different sources of that.
Yeah.
You just have. It doesn't stack. It's just you just have anti-infantry +1 rend from 2 different sources.
But why can't you just like 2 + 1 + 1 equals 4?
Like it was called out in the FAQ as well. Like
okay.
Yeah, if you have anti-infantry +1 rend on your war scroll and then you get it via like general's regiment or something like that, it's redundant.
That's lame.
Yeah.
I think that was a bad call. I just think it's more fun. Like There's more room to play. It's the same, but it's fine. Like, it's not like, okay, what I'm specifically referring to is the Hellpit Abomination, and it was already bad. So it's not like this is actually affecting me. But,
Yeah, Matthew S. said it right in the chat where it's anti-X is like a keyword. You either have it or you don't. It's kind of like saying you have fight last.
I get it. That makes sense.
No.
Okay, but what if you have... But if you have +1 rend on the charge, and you have +1 rend against infantry, do you get +2 rend?
Yep.
Okay. You just can't get it for the same reason twice.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you have ward 5 up on your war scroll, and you have an ability that gives the keyword ward 5 up, you don't get to roll it twice.
I know that. But but it literally says like add +1. Like, I get what you're saying, and I don't need to belabor this anymore. But you understand what I'm saying, right?
I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's less intuitive.
Well, it's not just less intuitive, but it's like if I said, okay, like Carson, you I don't know. God dang it.
You say something about the C word again?
Yeah, there you go. You use the C word in that sentence, right? So for using the C word, I'm going to give you an M&M, right? And then if you used it twice, I would think that you'd get 2 M&Ms.
I wouldn't think that at all.
Because of how I just phrased it, exactly. But it's not phrased like that. Like, there isn't like a big long phrasing, right?
Yeah.
It's like it says like forgetting. Anyway, like I've already explained it, I think. But yeah, it just says +1 rend for being infantry, and then over here it says +1 rend against infantry as well. So it makes sense to me that you'd get 2 pips of rend, but you don't. But the real secret, the thing that I actually learned from that was not to not give, or to not to specifically concentrate on rend against infantry. It was to not take the Hellpit Abomination. That's what I actually learned. And that was a much better lesson.
Indeed.
It's true. My analogies are concerning. Hey, he wanted the C word back. And I said, you know what, Carson, I'll oblige you. I'm not spamming the C word. Hey, wait a minute. You're from Australia, Keith. You should understand the use of the C word. Like, one of my favorite memes of all time. And I can't find it. I found like a similar one, but it's the meme with Homer Simpson. And it says he's like holding like a whip in a chair or something, and there's this giant spider like about to attack him. And it says what people think Australia is like. And then it says what it's actually like, and it's the same exact picture, but he's calling the spider the C word. And I thought that was just mwah. And I've only ever found it where the picture is upside down, and all the lettering is upside down too. And yeah, I do enjoy chicken hunting. I mean, that's just good fun right there.
It's a bit like we're on the good place. Kant. Yeah.
That's true.
I'm just bringing up my favorite philosopher. That's all. And mispronouncing the name.
Yeah, exactly. And misrepresenting what letter it starts with as well. Call him the K word. Actually, no, don't. God dang it. That's so much more offensive. Never mind. Moving right along. Keith says, growing up in Australia, calling someone a C was the best way to get punched in the face. Now people using it talking to friends. Damn youths. Apparently. I don't know. It's a good way to get punched in the face here, though.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah, still. Old school. Oh, dang it. I left my phone far away. I'll be right back. just not going to say anything, Carbington?
No, I'm just gonna let them listen to you.
I'm back. Idiots. I gotta remember to put my phone over here so that my alarm is easy to turn off. It's true. We should all shake our fists at people on the lawn. Oh dear.
Indeed. Also, the problem is I've just had one beer and I'm just tired.
That's the worst. Yeah. That's true. That's true. But Alex, you're from England. And people just think you're being charming or something.
Oh, you.
Oh, you. Exactly. Matthew said earlier, one example where anti-X non-sticking shows up is more tech guard and their relentless discipline for anti-charge. So they get an additional... Wait, what do they get for anti-charge? So if you charge them, then what do they get?
Ren +1.
Okay. So like
Plus
Storm
one red,
Vermin.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's a
Oh, then it's
relentless discipline.
anti-infantry.
No, I think you can increase the Ren by 1 with... what? Let me just check.
I
I
don't
have
know.
it here. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let me take a look. More tech guard. You said more tech guard, right?
Yep. More tech. There's more. That's because they're. Oh, I get it now. That's because they are more tech. They get more tech. In the
Right.
game.
So they have anti-charge +1 rend on their
Okay.
war scroll.
Gotcha.
And then there's a relentless discipline called Counter Strike, which is for the rest of the turn, friendly units, melee weapons have anti-charge +1 rend while they're wholly within 12 inches of that hero. Why would that stack?
I don't know.
Would it stack? I don't think it does.
Like it. No, Mortec Guard get 2 sources of anti-charges. So
Oh, sorry. There's one example where anti-X non-stacking shows up as Mortec Guard and their relentless discipline for anti-charge.
I
Okay.
see.
Yep. I see. That makes sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yep, the chat. We're delayed. I'm sorry. You'll see the apology soon.
The damn freaking delay, huh?
Heck,
It gets
gosh
us every
darn
time.
delay.
Yeah. Oh dear. Deary me, Carbington. Well, I can't think of anything else to say other than I am very excited for Skaven. Some may find that surprising.
I'm excited for them. Or for you, sorry. I'm excited for you. And them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because you are one of them. But
That's true. I absolutely am.
yeah. I would be a little disappointed if it wasn't too different from the index. That would kind of suck.
That's kind of what they said though, right?
Maybe they just were kidding.
Where I forget where it is. Maybe they could tell us in the chat.
Let's see. Yeah. Scott McNames asks next tournament. As I whitewash my face.
I know.
The next tournament that I'm going to be going to is going to be an RTT here in Richmond, or in Richmond, which is local to us, which is on September 22nd. Richmond Reroll is a new store that just opened up, so if you're local, go check them out. I've been in touch with one of the owners, and he's a really cool guy. And there's actually like 36 people in that RTT, which is kind of crazy for a one-day event. A lot. And then the actual GT that I'm going to be doing after that is going to be Sparkle Party down in Seattle, which is sold out. Like 50 people, I think, or maybe a little bit more. Amazing art, actually. They, what's it called? I can't remember their name, but I know that it's Stark Pister's partner, like did the art for Sparkle Party, and it's just like this incredible Skaven like dissecting another like rad ogre. It looks like just
he's like pulling warp stone out of its like chest cavity and like holding it up. So good.
I might buy one just to like frame it or something because it looks so good.
It's that good. Get her if you can get her to sign it.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
How much are they? Do you know?
I don't remember them being very much last time. I'm not sure though.
Maybe I might. Could you let me know, and I might want to buy one.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
See if I can get it signed.
Yeah. So I'm going to be going to Sparkle Party, which is good. That's always like a hornet's nest of players where there's just like incredible players on like Team USA and Canada and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a scary one. And then after that, I'm going to be going to North America Masters in Boston, the team's tournament, representing the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, right. Ladivica said, Vizic makes me as excited as Rob playing with his Stream Deck. That was, so making that and like figuring it out was a huge pain in the butt. But seeing the different like things that I made show up as buttons on there was super, like was actually like genuinely made me excited. I really liked it. And by the way, so actually that's something I meant to say at the start of the stream. If anyone in the chat or in the comment section later on has an idea for anything else to add to the Stream Deck, we're kind of looking for ideas because we thought we were limited to 32 buttons and we're not. We're basically not limited. So I've got all the battle tactics, order, and then all the the four main factions, and then I've got like some of the stuff that people don't really care about, like stream starting soon. Like I've got a button for that and whatnot. But then we're gonna do the battle plans as well. But like if you have like a cool idea, like we could make a soundboard if we wanted. Like there's all sorts of cool stuff we could do. So yeah. Flashbangs for Carson. Buy him a drink first.
There's a button and just like
yeah.
I can't say anything.
That would be so awesome. Oh man. Probably ruin the cameras.
just the button that drops a flashbang into the room. If you donate $100, a flashbang will go off in front of Carson's
We did
face.
like a trap door, like right in between both players, and it just drops into the dice box.
Yeah,
God dang it. Ah! Yeah. Oh, man. Thanks for joining us, Asri. Yeah, we're not going to be too much longer on here. Pre-recorded sound effects. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Like, obviously, we got to have a fart sound for Carson. He loves those things.
My favorite. We should have an embedded fart folder, I think.
Yeah. Like one whole 32 keys of Stream Deck is just
from in ascending order of pitch, I think.
And
just...
wetness. Left is dry, right is wet, and then a high pitch
so
on top.
Graph.
Yeah, that's a graph. And we got to bring the class. That's what we're known for. Like we don't want to disappoint people.
I just love to see Kenrick with like a contemplative look on his face, and he finally decides to press one button, and it's just just a wet fart. Perfect.
Yeah, we need like the firecrackers. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the other farts from South Park.
I don't either. Also, Bear Chill says, I stole him a drink for his 19th. You're almost a decade too late.
Wait, what? What was it?
Bear Chill. Yeah, I've known him for a long time. And
cool.
I think at one point we were going to get like a beer on my 19th birthday or something, but it's been a while, since then.
You have them. You have a birthday once a year. Never too late.
Yep.
I like it. A beer dispenser button. Press it and a beer pops out somewhere. Yeah. One of the cool ideas that I've seen is like people use like a mini fridge as like an end table, and then they just like kind of pop it open and grab stuff. That's the next closest thing. Oh, that's a good one. Keith says, have a voice recording for the didn't ask. Yeah. And then there should be one where you say thanks, didn't ask. You gotta get both of them. Yeah. I think it's a great idea. Thank you so much, but oh God, why would you do that? Entrance theme music. Yeah.
Probably it has to be royalty free.
Yes. Yes.
Or
They have to be
it'd funny if like in the middle of it, it's just like playing this awesome theme, and then it just goes audio jungle, and then it keeps playing the theme like the stupid like audio watermarks.
That'd be great. Oh man, we still might get hit by. We still probably would get hit by copyright.
Oh yeah.
By the way, everyone, I muted the whole stream other than when they were talking, and somehow I didn't just get one copyright strike for that video. I got 2 copyright strikes. Like, come on. Yeah, that's a good idea, Alex.
Yeah. We should just get a button that says what?
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 Yep. Yep. These are all good ideas. Keep them coming, people.
Yep. Yep. Oh, I got nothing.
Same here. That was really fun, though. I don't even remember what the hell we were laughing at the start of the stream, but that just like kept me loopy for the entire podcast. So
I think someone was talking about aunties and Prince George.
that's what it was. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I called you a geed for not getting it. Snagging some aunties.
We're not. I mean, nope. I never have. I almost entrapped myself, and that would have been bad. Yeah, like I actually am thinking about something like that, like some different sort of Skaven-y sort of sound effects. Matthew, that sounds like fun. Thanks to you, Ludivicus, and Keith, and Matthew, and Bear, and Alex, and Chris, and Scott, and Azri, and I'm still going, Scott, and Matthew, and Pat, and Sean. Should I keep going?
Just gonna go up the whole list. The entire chat history.
I went pretty far up
Yeah.
until it was all. Yeah, but thanks everyone for joining us. It was a special pleasure and blast this week. We are planning. We meant to say this. We are planning on. We're hoping to do our very first return battle report next week. This week we're hoping to, now that the computer is built and everything is whatever, we're going to try and set it up and have everything ready. So we're hoping to do a battle report next week. So I hope you'll join us. I'm not sure what date it'll be, but yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Carson?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Awesome.
Saga of Dice. In and out.